Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Take a look at your baseball scoreboard. Some finals in the books. Red Sox beat the Padres 5-2. It was the Yankees over the Marlins 8-2. Tigers shut out the Cardinals 4-0. Dodgers hammering the Nationals 13-6. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Kyle Tucker, and Shohei Ohtani all going deep in that game. Game's going on right now. You've got the Blue Jays up on the White Sox 4-3. That one in the bottom of the 10th inning in Chicago. Top of the 4th in Texas. Reds and Rangers knotted up at 2 apiece. Cubs up 1-0 on the Guardians in the top of the 4th. Top of the 3rd in Colorado. The Phillies are giving it to the Rockies 8-0. The score in that one. Top of the 3rd in Pittsburgh. Pirates out 4-0 over the Orioles. And they're in a bit of a weather delay in Minnesota. No score between the Rays and the Twins. And the Mariners get back to it tonight. Game 1 of their series against the Angels. They send Brian Wu to the hill. You can catch all of the action starting at 6 o'clock with the pregame show somewhere after 7 o'clock for first pitch right here. Seattle Sports on 710.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Happy Friday to everybody out there on a beautiful day outside. Big show coming your way. We got Paul Moyer joining us for his weekly conversation at 3 o'clock. We got our buddy Craig Gass, comedian extraordinaire, who's got a big show coming up this weekend, big charity show. So he'll come in at 4 p.m. to tell us all about that. Gary Hill of your Seattle Mariners broadcast team will join us at 5 o'clock. And we've got Mean Text coming up at 5:45 today. So go ahead and get those going at 866-979-3776. Whatever you got. Whatever is on your mind. We got Mike Lefkoe in for Dave Wyman today, so there's plenty of material sitting right there for you. Go nuts, everybody.
Send them down to our text line.
Send them down to the text line.
Send them out to the text line.
Out, down, whatever it is. Yeah. So yeah, we've got you covered. I'm fighting a cold. I caught a cold for the first time in like a year and a half.
Oh, who's to blame? Because I remember that one time it was the certain people that go to that show that you and Maura were at.
Oh, that was at the casino. Yeah, that's when it caught COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been sick since I had COVID.
Okay.
The last time.
So were you in some seedy
I think
places
probably maybe
like that?
just being in crowds at the Mariner games and things like that. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The weather has been crazy, too. I mean, we came back from that, 90-degree weather.
Yeah.
It's cold. It was snowing a little bit. It got warm for a day or two.
I was
30
fine.
degrees over the weekend. Now, I don't know. I think you sat through all those games, right, over the weekend?
Yeah.
That was one, and the Yankee series. That was one of the colder homestands, consistent
really cold.
And
yeah.
not just the usual, like, okay, it's in the 50s, but it's cold up in the press box. This was low 40s, feels like mid-30s.
I'm going to blame Shannon because she held up a bag of cough drops saying, I'm not feeling great. And I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling so hot either. So I don't know. Just, it pisses me off when I get sick. I take way too many precautions. I wash my hands 100 times a day. I take all these supplements. Just look at this big baggie of things I take every day.
I think I've asked you this. Have you seen Parks and Rec?
No.
Matt, you've seen Parks and Rec, right? So in that, Rob Lowe plays a character that is a fitness freak, clean living, all of that stuff. And he says, like, I'm like a microchip. But when the microchip gets corroded like a speck of dirt, then it all goes haywire. And he gets really, really sick. So it's like that with you. Like, you don't ever get sick. When it happens, it just all is annoying like that.
Yeah, it's annoying, yeah. Because you take all these precautions. I'm not Dave Wyman eating food off the floor, not washing my hands. I take precautions.
I mean, we've tried to tell you, Bob, that sometimes a little floor food builds up immunity.
Hey,
now, Dave's not here, so maybe he is sick. But, I knock on wood, I'm not sick, and I was eating floor food just this morning. So, no, it was not.
Yeah, he gets sick a lot more. I haven't been sick in over a year. So, anyway, text line is there for you. By the way, 425 said, Bob gets a cold the day he's hosting with Lefkoe. Coincidence? Yeah, I don't know. I showed up.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, like, had you not shown up, then that would be the coincidence. But,
yeah, we'll see if I have a voice by the end of the show. Meanwhile, so you get your mean text in, 866-979-3776. Mariners made the roster move yesterday, which we all expected. J.P. Crawford was activated off the 10-day IL. He had that shoulder inflammation. They sent Ryan Bliss down to AAA Tacoma. I haven't seen, last check, I did not see a lineup. Did they put it out there yet?
No, not yet.
But we're assuming.
Refresh,
Yeah, we're assuming he's going to be in the lineup today. And I'm wondering how much pressure is there on him to perform quickly? Because if you're being fair, even if you're a JP critic, if you're being fair, he really had no spring training because he was dealing with this throughout spring. He had some games where he was just hitting, then he didn't play. He was kind of start. He really didn't have spring. He had 2 games down there with the Rainiers. Realistically, is it fair to expect him to be anywhere near ready to start the season in terms of his timing, rhythm, things like that? I'm trying to set expectations for what we could or should see out of him. And if he goes 0 for 4 tonight, I'm not going to be like, oh, stupid, why'd you bring him up? He's not. I mean, I think it's going to take him a bit. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love for him to come out red hot. But we're talking about a guy that really had little to no work. It was start, stop all through spring.
Well, are you talking about maybe pressure or expectations of because Colt Emerson's looming behind him, that perceived, well, he's going to get replaced if he's not performing?
I think, again, if you're, and there are many, if you're a JP critic, you've got Colt Emerson, who's this shiny new toy out there that we all want to see. And if he starts out slow, which I think is probably more likely than him starting out hot, just based on what I just said, that's going to create urgency. Well, get Emerson in here. He's not ready, or he's not good, or whatever they're going to say about JP. And trying to be realistic about a guy who's really had very little time under his belt to get ready for the season.
Well, you always have those people because we saw that before spring training started. It was JP, time to replace him. Let's go with the young guys. So I think that would happen unless he comes out and hits 2 home runs or goes 4 for 4. But, that's going to happen regardless. It's one segment of the fan base that it's the backup quarterback dynamic where you always want the guy who you think is better. We've seen that for years across all sports. I don't think there's any pressure or expectation of JP having to perform for his job this season. There might be some internal pressure that players put on themselves when you have this slow start and you have these guys who are all struggling in the middle of the lineup there where, we'll get into this as well. When you have Naylor and Cal and Julio, they are struggling. They put it on themselves to pick up the slack. So I think JP coming into a situation like that, and by the way, back home in Southern California where he does love to play, back in that environment, he probably has a lot of internal pressure that he's put on himself.
Yeah.
But I don't know if there will be external forces conspiring to say, well, look, if you start 0 for 9 or something like that in this first weekend series that you're playing, you're in danger of losing anything. The Mariners, though, they need him to be that capable bat. We assume will be the bottom of the order where he's that kind of swing back to the top. And you saw some at bats on Wednesday where Leo Rivas looked a little overmatched. If that's J.P. Crawford down in that 9 hole, maybe he's turning it over back to the top of the order. You're getting bigger innings. You're finding some semblance of offense. So from that perspective, the Mariners certainly need JP to give them that spark because this is the new addition to the offense that has struggled over these past couple of games.
Yeah, Joseph in the 253 saying he had 1 AAA game. The second was rained out. I didn't realize they got rained out.
Oh, yeah, Wednesday because it was pouring down.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so 1 game.
So just, he was over 4.
Thanks for that, Joseph. I totally spaced that. I didn't realize they had that he had been rained. So even less work. Even more to the point, he's had less opportunity to find his game, if you will. I hope at minimum he can play solid defense. I'm going to be curious to see that first throw. I'm going to be, especially if he has to hurry it. If it's a bang play, maybe it's a slow roller to short, and he's got to fire that ball to first. What does it look like? At the plate, I'm not as concerned. He'll figure that out. He usually puts up a good AB. He's a guy that sees a lot of pitches, but that first throw, I'm curious. How does he look? Does he look like he's favorite? Does it look any different at all? It's going to be interesting. And again, he's not blind to the fact that Colt Emerson, A, signed the big deal. B, he was down there with him. They were in the lineup together in the 1 game they did play. So he's aware that here's his replacement sitting right next to him. Here's the replacement, hanging in Tacoma. And if he's off to a slow start at all, if you're a human being, you know that, that's your spot. You're a shortstop. They just signed this shortstop to an 8-year deal. The writing's on the wall. So how, as a human, knowing that, how do you not press a little bit?
Yeah, and I
right?
think you're right. Defensively, there probably will be a lot more scrutiny because you're looking at a shortstop that is getting into his 30s and a question about diminished range. And, it hasn't been as great defensively for JP over the past season as it had been before, or years past. So with all that, and then the fact that the shoulder did not respond well during spring training. So they had to shut him down because he had a slow start. He had a delayed start to spring. He played in, one game? And then all of a sudden it's like, well, no, now it's acting up again. So out of precaution, you shut him down.
Yeah.
But yeah, going beyond just this first game tonight, how does he feel and how does he look Saturday, Sunday? Because he can't just come in and play once and then have to sit and need a couple days off. That shoulder needs to be ready to go. So
Yeah.
he needs to be in there. And, with JP, in the past, the issue has been he hasn't been able to get days off. And so that maybe has led to some wear and tear. So you rely on this guy to be your every single day in the lineup shortstop. And if the Mariners are not going to get that version right now, then it is fair to wonder and say, all right, well, what happens with all these scenarios behind him that I know we'll get into a little bit as well. And we talked about when the Emerson news broke that you have this guy who is a shortstop who you're paying for the future at shortstop. We're seeing all these young shortstops now across baseball get paid. If something starts to happen defensively, whether it's at third or at short, that's when the questions will begin. So that's why this series, I think, you add a lot beyond just JP's bat and stability, what he could do defensively for them.
Text line is there for you, 866-979-3776. The 425 says, I'm just waking up and getting stoned, but even a numb nut like me knows you won't be reading mean texts at 5:45 today since the pregame starts at 5:30, morons. Well, you're wrong. It's going to start at 6 because the Angels are doing something with their opening day ceremonies. For whatever reason, they're not announcing it, but it's been made clear that the first pitch will be sometime after 7 o'clock, 7:05, 7:10, somewhere in there.
Believe me, we would gladly leave at 5:30 if we could leave at 5:30. Matt, I think, is still trying to leave at 5:30.
Oh, I'm leaving at 5:30.
Yes, he's leaving at 5:30. No, that's a fair point, though, because every published time has 6:38 first pitch. And just add it to the long list of reasons to be mad at the Angels. I have a long-running feud why I dislike the Angels, but it kind of sums up the incompetence of their organization. So, yes, it is a 6 o'clock pregame. You said that at the start. We'll reiterate, though, throughout the show. 6 o'clock pregame. First pitch will not be at 6:38. It'll be later.
Yeah, so take that. Now who's the moron? Huh? Yeah, all right. Jerry Dipoto, the one thing I was thinking about last night, Lefko, is in thinking about JP and what's a fair expectation, Colt Emerson is looming.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the guy that should be looking over his shoulder, at least defensively, at Colt Emerson is Brendan Donovan, who's got three balls that he's booted. He's 2 bad throws, and he booted another one. He's got 3 errors in 7 games. And that doesn't mean he can't improve and won't improve. I'm not saying get him out of there, but he was the one sort of question mark we talked about as far as defense goes. I mean, you've got 0 complaints about who he is offensively. He's been outstanding. He's been a little rough at third. What's the tolerance? What's the grace, level of grace that they show him there? Because it is a new position for him. As much as he's been in the league for 4 seasons, the majority of his career has been spent at second base, and then next closest would be left field. He's had just very few starts at third base, and I think we're kind of seeing that. And again, this isn't pulling the plug, panicking, but you got 3 errors in 7 games. What are we looking at? What are we looking at? Do they give him a few weeks? Do they give him a month? Do they give him a number of games? We'll give you 40 games. Take a look then. We'll reassess. It's a work in progress. I'm just curious to see how they handle that, especially if Emerson is just lighting it up at AAA and he's playing great defense and he's hitting and he signed the big deal. We're all waiting for him to come to take JP's spot. Well, maybe they look at it and go, we're going to plop him in at third and Donovan's going to be our utility guy. You have to keep his bat in the lineup. He's got to be in the lineup. But is he playing left field one day? Maybe one day he's giving Cole Young a break at second and they're moving him around. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. So your timeline for Donovan is whenever Colt Emerson is ready. And that's, I think, what Jerry Dipoto was kind of alluding to when they had that press conference on Tuesday after the signing, that you're going to bring his bat up at some point, Colt Emerson, that is, that he is ready to go. And then it's just kind of the puzzle of where you fit what we think will be the odd man out in Brendan Donovan around in the lineup. Yeah,
this is Jerry on Tuesday, and he was asked how it fits whenever Emerson makes his debut.
How it all fits
especially with Leo being the only one who hits from the right side, is a little more complicated. But I think that's where Brendan Donovan's versatility really plays a huge part in what we're doing. And I referenced it through the offseason or once we acquired Brendan. Donnie's versatility made it such a priority for us to acquire him because he allowed us to do a lot of creative things with the other players on the field. And we didn't want to stop, Cole's rise, his ascension to a premium position. We didn't want to stop Colt from making an impact when he was ready to make an impact. So, yeah, he's speaking to his versatility, that he can move around, play different spots. And that's all true, obviously. So, yeah, I'm kind of keeping an eye on that. We'll watch and see what Emerson looks like at AAA in the way of production and numbers, and then how does the defense look here? And then that's going to, I think, inform us pretty quickly when that move gets
Because
made.
The curious thing is there's not really an immediate replacement for Brendan Donovan at third. If, say, it becomes a liability tonight or tomorrow, I can't think of an option at third right now on the big league roster. I mean, do you put Leo Rivas
maybe
at
Rivas?
third? That would be the only guy you could put.
Has Ref Schneider played any third base? I don't even know his history.
He's barely been in, right? He's just been that platoon bat as the DH. So you'd have to scramble. And the Mariners did do this last year because Jorge Polanco was supposed to be the third baseman. They then went with some combination of Masterboni and Dylan Moore until they finally, a few weeks into the season, brought Ben Williamson up. So maybe it's something like that where it's, I don't know. It's Leo. There really isn't a guy, though. It's literally Leo Rivas is the only other one you could probably put right there at third right now.
He's played 4 games at third.
Ref Snyder. Yeah.
No.
Leo. Re-up. Yeah. So that's not even really an option you feel good about. So your question about how much leeway does Brendan Donovan get, he's got enough until there's a significantly better option there, which is probably, at this point, Colt Emerson or no one else. So he's going to come along and he'll have his growing pains, but the Mariners are confident in what Perry Hill can do. We've seen how he smoothed out Gino Suarez. Ben Williamson was a great defensive third baseman. You had that luxury with him. Brendan Donovan, you have the bat. You don't necessarily have the defense like you did with Williamson. The bat is much better, and you kind of are working along with the good and the bad right now.
Ref Snyder, 1 game at third base.
All right. So those are not options, really.
Yeah. So you don't have an experienced individual over there. They'll deal with what. And look, Donovan could improve. The guy is a grinder. If he doesn't improve, it's not going to be because he wasn't working at it. If anything, he works too hard. Who knows? But he's a grinder. He's a guy who's a Gold Glover as a utility player. But being exclusively a third baseman, a little different. And he even talked about it when we talked to him in spring training, just about the angle of the ball coming off the bat. That throw from third to first versus second. Everything about it is different. You can be a Gold Glover in another spot in the field. Doesn't mean you're going to go over here and just be like, oh, this is easy.
Yeah.
And he's showing that.
For all the work that he put in the cage and for everything he's done hitting, and we've seen the results of that, it's almost impossible to replicate game-like situations defensively at third. To have the situations, or you can have ground balls hit to you all day. You can put them in a batting machine and spin them crazily to you at third, but you can't replicate that. All right, here's a 109-mile-an-hour hard grounder, and then maybe 3 batters later, you have a barehanded charging down the line throw we saw him try to make early in the season. So just to deal with all those situations you have at third, nothing will help you replicate that except experience. And he's getting that experience. You're seeing a little bit of the growing pains and some rust getting knocked off from playing a position like that. But right now, that's the option. And until it becomes an extreme liability, which I don't think it will be, he's your option defensively at third.
Yeah, somebody was asking about Ben Williamson, I think he was doing well initially in their spring training and everything. He's hitting 250 right now. He's got 5 hits. Yeah, They're all singles.
You had to get rid of him. You weren't keeping him.
I mean, look, you loved his glove.
Yeah.
You loved his glove. Offensively, that's where the questions were. And right now, again, hitting 250, on base of 250, a slug of 250. That's where he's at. It's early. Look, these numbers jump in a crazy way up or down based on one game. And I love looking at numbers early in the season where a guy comes into a game, he's hitting 400, and then at the end of the game, he's hitting 175 or something like that. It's just the swing is hilarious to me. Meanwhile, we talked about this a bit with John Morosi yesterday. Just again, keeping in mind, let's keep it in perspective. It's 7 games, but 3 errors in 7 games is just not good. It's just not. And we asked Morosi about his level of concern when it comes to Brendan Donovan's defense at third base.
He's a really good athlete, but he doesn't have a ton of major league reps at this particular position on an everyday basis. And it's one thing to do it in spring training. It's another to do it again early in the year. We're still kind of getting into the spring weather and all those different elements. I need to see more. You're right. It has not been a good start. He has not looked. He's not Williamson over there. He's not even probably Suarez over there right now. I'm going to give him time, and I'm sure the Mariners will have the same approach. You're not going to change the schematic based on a week, but let's see where we're at in a month or so, how the defense is going, especially with a pitching staff like this. It's so high-powered, you cannot give the other team extra outs to play with.
Yeah, so I think that's fair. Look, nobody's advocating for you got to do something. You got to get him out of there. Let's see how he works it out.
Give him a month.
And what gives me confidence that he can is just watching his work ethic. Again, I just – I know fans didn't get a chance to see it. They've heard us talk about it, but the guy is an absolute grinder. He is the walking definition of a grinder. Watching him in the batting cages, watching him before he got in the batting cages, just watching him work out. I mean, he is a fanatic. He's a maniac out there. So, yeah, I don't have any concerns about him addressing it. We'll just see if it pays off. And make sure to download the Seattle Sports app. You can listen to every Mariners game all season long. One app, completely free. Enjoy every pitch of Rick Riz's final season all in one place at no cost is the best part. It's the easiest way to enjoy Seattle Mariners baseball. And, yeah, it is free. Even better. All right, let's take two.
Well, 19-year-old Connor Griffin, the number one overall prospect in baseball, debuted earlier this afternoon for the Pirates, had an RBI double in his first at-bat, helped spark that big inning for the Pirates. He's yet to take his second at-bat. They're still early on against the Orioles. And then, I don't know if this will help put it in perspective, but that Yankees team that shut down the Mariners offense, after they beat the Marlins 8-2 today, they've allowed just 8 total runs on the season. That's tied for the fewest in MLB history through 7 games, the 2002 Giants and the 1993 Braves.
Yeah, that's Yankees look good, man. I don't know what to say. They got the lineup, they got the pitching, they look good, which
and their pitching isn't fully healthy yet.
I know they don't have Garrett Cole yet.
That's kind of terrifying to think about.
Yeah, and this kid Connor Griffin is huge. He's 19 years old. He's 6'4", 225. He's a big kid.
I was watching that first at bat. The entire stadium rose, huge round of applause. He almost struck out, drop foul tip, then had that double in the gap. I think he's gonna be fun to watch for them.
And did you read or hear that they were talking about he's on the verge of signing the biggest contract in Pirates history?
He has, supposedly.
Is it already signed?
Well, that came out a couple days ago, so it was the reported 9 years, $145 million. It's either 140 or 145. So he's already surpassed Colt Emerson for the biggest contract for a guy who hadn't made his MLB debut. Yeah, 140. 9-year, $140 million contract. It was announced yesterday, I believe. Not official yet by the Pirates, but yeah, trying to lock up their bright future.
But that's the biggest contract in the history of that organization?
Yeah, that's kind of sad. Oh, that does say a lot about the Pirates. And I don't think they're going to sign Paul Skeens, anything that comes close to topping that. So we'll see. I mean, the future's bright for them right now. Skeens and Griffin, and looks fun to be a Pirates fan in this moment. We got some football news today, very minor, but just the NFL released all the offseason schedules for teams. So the first OTAs begin the final week of May 26th for the Seahawks, and then their mandatory minicamp June 9th through 11th.
It's quick.
It is.
That's what happens when you win the Super Bowl and you're playing into February. You turn around here, the draft is, 3 weeks away? April 23rd?
Yeah, it was 3 weeks from yesterday.
Yeah. So, I mean, man, it's amazing how much quicker things come when you are the last one standing.
Well, we'll peel back the curtain a little bit quickly. So the Super Bowl ended 10 weeks out from the draft, which is notable because usually you guys start the John Schneider show 10 Thursdays from the NFL draft.
Right.
And that literally happened 4 days after the Super Bowl. So we pushed back the start date because, hey, they were still coming off the Super Bowl. But normally you're in the thick of the offseason. The Seahawks had just finished playing football 10 weeks before the draft.
Amazing. Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. You might be surprised by who is almost ready to push the panic button when it comes to the Mariners. We'll get into that next. It's Wyman and Bob. Mike Lefko in for Wyman. Seattle Sports on 710.
ESPN senior MLB insider Jeff Passan every Tuesday morning at 8:30 with Brock and Salk.
Brought to you by your Western Washington Toyota dealers.
Colt Emerson, 8-year extension.
Free agent years are incredibly valuable. If you can get those at a discount, when you have Julio Rodriguez and Cal Raleigh and Colt Emerson locked up for the better part of half a decade, you're in a really good spot.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text INVEST to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text INVEST to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text INVEST to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text INVEST to 64,000.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Get ready to be transported back to the golden era of rock. It's John Waite with John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. Live at Emerald Queen Casino, April 9th. John Waite and John Cafferty, April 9th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
This baseball season, Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton have you covered with every play. With their lineup of Tundras, Tacomas, and the all-electric BZ lineup. Versatile, powerful, and innovative. All built to elevate your drive. Take a test drive at either location and head home or to the ballpark in that Toyota the same day. Whether you're in the north or the south, they've got you covered. Visit Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
O'Brien. Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
Progressive knows that for business owners, vacations hit different. But hey, at least you finally took a vacation. And look at that. You only answered 53 calls, 84 emails, onboarded 1 new hire, and covered for Chris while he's out on paternity leave, and you did it all from a kayak. Because you, my friend, know how to relax. All right, you may not know how to take a day off, but you do know both your personal and business auto insurance needs can be covered in one place with Progressive. So at least that's relaxing, right? Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states or situations.
Your reputation matters. That's why so many landscape professionals choose Gravely. You can save up to 20% on Gravely commercial mowers during the Gravely Mow the Distance sales event, starting April 9th. Visit your local Gravely dealer today.
Mariners and Angels in Anaheim tonight. First pitch at 6:38, 5:30 pregame. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from IQ Bar. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at eatiqbar.com/policy/terms of service.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ Bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Now you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping when you text radio to 64,000. Text radio to 64,000 to get your 20% off. That's radio to 64,000.
Progressive knows you think the grass is always greener. Like maybe you ride a motorcycle. But today, it's raining. So you wish you had an RV. But if you did, you'd have to listen to some guy parked next to it at a campsite plays acoustic guitar. Now, before you start wishing you had a boat, remember, your brother-in-law would invite himself every weekend.
Permission to come aboard, Captain?
But one thing that is greener is the money you could save when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Texts are coming in. People weighing in on the Mariners. This Patrick in Tacoma, who's a frequent texter, might get the award for the most negative Mariner fan. 7 games into the season.
That's a big title to bestow on someone.
Just one after another. Cal had 4 home runs at this point last year. I will predict the Mariners missed the playoffs, followed by Mariners blew it in capital letters by trading Ben Williamson for a utility player, followed by, seriously, Mariners have aspirations of a World Series run. Donovan is a liability. Every game counts, followed by Mariners had a one-and-done run. Last year was a fluke. They were a 500 team all year and played teams with multiple players out in the last month.
Well, hold on.
It's 7 games. And just
Cal did not have 4 home runs at this point last year. So okay.
Patrick says he did.
Oh. Huh. All right.
The Mariners, by the way, after 7 games last year, guess what? They were 3-4. Then they lost the next 3 in a row. They got swept by the Giants. They were 3-7. And then you fast forward, and they had the best season in the history of this organization in terms of how far they got. So all is not lost in the first 7, the first 10, the first month of the season. Just let it play out. Let's not panic after 7 games. But speaking of that, we've been talking about the middle of the order and talking about, what they've done, more importantly, what they've not done. I mean, Naylor has 1 hit at this point, which is just odd to me. And he's not striking out. He's got 5 strikeouts on the season. He's making contact, but he's just hitting at 2 people. He seems a little out in front. Like the timing's not quite there yet. He's 1 for 27. Julio is 2 for 26 with 10 Ks. Cal's leading the pack with 4 hits. He's 4 for 25, but he's got 15 strikeouts. So, yeah, the middle of your order is not good right now. There's no way around that. But I think most believe they're all going to be there. They're all going to be fine. They're going to find it. And it feels like Cal's kind of starting to find it. Had the game winner the other night. Had the 2-run single in the last game. So it feels like he's slowly getting – there's going to be swing and miss with him and Julio. That's their game. So he seems – his pace is pretty big right now for Cal. But I don't worry about those guys. But somebody who does have a little bit more concern is Ryan Rowland-Smith. He was on MLB Network and explained why he's concerned by Naylor, Cal, Julio struggling the way they are.
Not pressing the panic button. You said it's been a week. But coming into opening day for this Mariners team, especially in the AL West, when you're watching the Astros sweeping the Red Sox and with the Seattle Mariners, the expectations are you better get to a World Series this year. That's kind of the bar they've raised after last year. But the core of this lineup is concerning. You've got Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, and Josh Naylor. I mean, you look at the numbers right there. It's not a situation where they're getting unlucky. They look like they're off time. Julio Rodriguez is a little jumpy out the gates. Josh Naylor just doesn't quite have that energy at the box. He's swinging super early. And Cal Raleigh just not able to catch those fastballs at the top of the strike zone. They look a little lost, and that's the heart and soul of this offense. And look, I know they're built on pitching, but when you have your guy Cal Raleigh, who's essentially the leader of this team, and Josh Naylor, who was that big presence after that trade, and of course Julio with all his energy, I'm telling you, man, it's been tough to watch these last couple of days. There's only so many times I can sit here and say it's early.
Well, you can still say it. It's 7 games. You play 162. Come on, Ryan.
Do you think Ryan on the national stage had to make sure he was like, well, I know I'm work for the Mariners. I don't want everyone to think I'm a homer, because I was surprised.
So you think he overcorrected
fatalistic
there?
I think maybe a little overcorrection, but also he's more attuned to it than probably those guys are on MLB Network. Like, he has seen every single pitch of the Mariners season, and so yeah, I'm sure watching Cal Raleigh, it is magnified to him just how far behind he is on the fastball. He was mentioning, I think it was yesterday when he was on with Bump and Stacy, that Cal Raleigh is just not caught up to the fastball. That gives me belief that he's going to get there, because that's an easy fix. I mean, he struck out 9 times on a fastball. He's whiffing nearly 53% of the time on a fastball. It's a simple fix because Cal Raleigh, we know he's a proven power hitter.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that. The one curiosity, we kind of got into this yesterday, and I know you asked John Morosi about it. I'm just curious about Josh Naylor, because this is abnormal compared to how he usually starts seasons. And 1 for 27, that's bad no matter what stretch of the season you're in, who you're talking about, anything like that. So it's just the unknown, because we don't have as long of a track record with Naylor as these 2 other guys in Julio and Cal.
Yeah, and maybe there's just, again, some of his, hey, he was a hero in this city last year. The love affair was unreal. He just hit the ground running when he got here. He was signed immediately. He got arguably the loudest ovation on opening day when he came out on the magenta carpet, holding the trident up in the air, signed the new deal, the new big deal. Maybe there's a pressure of living up to that, not wanting to disappoint the fans and show that this contract was money well spent. And look, he's a human being. He very easily could be pressing a bit up there, pressing more than he otherwise would or has in previous seasons. So yeah, I'm not worried. Do I like watching it? No. Ryan's right. It's tough to watch when those guys go up there and you feel like, with the game's on the line in certain situations, or there's a runner on third and all you need is a fly ball. I don't have a ton of confidence at this point. I'm kind of feeling like, they're probably going to make it out. They're going to hit dribbler to second. As he talked about, Naylor seems like he's out in front of everything. He's not squaring it up. Julio's hit the ball hard at a couple guys, so it feels like his timing is a little better. Naylor just seems to be way out in front, and it's kind of weak contact at this point. So, look, they're all going to find it. I'm not worried about any of the 3. I'm not. And yeah, he said there's only so many times you can say it's early. Well, it's 7 games, man. You can continue to say that for a little bit, right? You play 162. So I think it's hard when we come out of a football season and every game means the world.
Yeah.
You kind of have that mentality. And we just talked about the Seahawks obviously playing longer than they have in recent memory. So you're in that football mode of every game does mean a lot. I'm not saying these don't, and if you miss the playoffs by a game, we're going to look back at some of these as blown opportunities. But yeah, it's 7 of 162, and you can't attack it with that football mentality.
Yeah, there's no correlation, and I know this is the frustrating part. There's no correlation between a lineup that is as deep as it's ever been and a great pitching staff that necessarily means it's going to be a fast start. Over the course of a long season, you'll probably see them avoid the pitfalls and the big dips, and that's what you look for, but you don't have enough sample size to stabilize that yet. So, I'll try to put myself in the mind of our favorite morons that are listening. When you're a fan and you hear about all the exciting pieces for this Mariners team, and you hear analyst after analyst say World Series expectations, and then they don't win either of the first 2 series, it gets a little discouraging. So hopefully, if you're listening, you can keep in mind that discouraging right now and maybe not up to your insane standard of success doesn't necessarily mean it'll stay that way. If you start to lose a few more, and we'll talk to Moyer about this, and we'll get back into it too, the stretch that's coming up, if you start to struggle against divisional foes throughout the course of this next month, and then you are 30-plus games in, then you start to question some things. But right now, you played 2 good pitching staffs, 2 really good pitching staffs that will also depress an offense. That's why the Angels you get a sense this is going to be a more representative sample of what this Mariners team will be this weekend.
Yeah, you got 10 in a row coming up against AL West opponents. Sorry, I just watched O'Neill Cruz boot another ball in center field. No. He's terrible. Yeah.
Let's tune into Pittsburgh Sports Talk Radio. See,
he's had a brutal start to the season, a converted shortstop to the outfield, and he just booted another one. Meanwhile, John Schneider revealed something yesterday that shines a light on how the Seahawks have adapted their draft process. We'll get into that coming up with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
The Mariners have signed their best prospect, Colt Emerson, young shortstop, just 20 years old, yet to play a game in the big leagues. 8 years, $95 million guaranteed. There are some wins in here for the player, and I think a lot of wins in here for the team as well.
It's a win for the player to make generational money, and it's a win for the organization that if he becomes half the player that you believe he can become, that deal is going to be very favorable to your budget.
On Seattle Sports.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory is a little different. We actually reach out to the small business world, to Joel Taylor and Sean O'Donnell from Sean O'Donnell's Restaurants. Sean, when Joel brought this to you, the idea of why don't we take this First Mark Challenge victory, what was your thought?
My goal was to save some money and to simplify our operations. We've got 6 locations now, and along with that comes complications. And when things get complicated, things that are important get forgotten. First Mark was able to simplify that and also save us money.
Not only have they saved us money, they helped us identify some blind spots in our policies. Their service team has been phenomenal, unparalleled in my experience, given us a lot more solutions with better coverage, and just made too much sense.
First Mark's just made it easy for us.
So if you're a business owner and your insurance is in need of simplifying and streamlining and eliminate the stress, do what Sean O'Donnell's Restaurants did. Reach out to First Mark Insurance. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance, your teammate in the business world too, going to work for you.
It's about time delivery worked on your schedule. Same day, next day, or scheduled in advance. However you plan it, the Home Depot delivers the whole job. From drywall to doors, plumbing to paint, we'll get it there when you need it. Because on the job site, timing is everything. You order, we deliver. It's that easy. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here for my friends at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. And if you're looking for a spot to catch all the spring baseball and sports, I got a place for you. Hawks Peak Sports Bar and Grill. It's your home for game days with more than 60 TVs, so you won't miss a play. They got great food and drinks, and nothing beats the views. So get in on all the action at Hawks Peak. Head to snocasino.com for all the details. That's snocasino.com. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Please game responsibly.
Mariners and Angels in Anaheim tonight. First pitch at 6:38, 5:30 pregame. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Did you know in Washington State, you can see a physical therapist without a referral from your doctor? That's right. Thanks to Direct Access, you can skip the wait and get the care you need right away. Shannon O'Kelly, how has Direct Access changed the game?
Direct Access for us, Brock, is a game changer. Why? Is because there is so much research and data out there that says if you get in early when you have a musculoskeletal problem or an injury, the earlier you get in and we can start care, the better outcomes and the decreased downstream cost, okay? So it's so important. Our providers are all doctors of physical therapy. They're all trained to identify situations and problems. They've got the skill, they've got the talent, they've got the knowledge. If you get in and start therapy early, we're going to get you back to activity, pain-free, and moving and having fun.
Fast, easy, effective. Direct Access is your path to better movement, starting with a single step. Visit irgpt.com to schedule your appointment today. irgpt.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Coming up at the top of the hour, Paul Moyer will join us for his weekly conversation. Stay tuned for that. Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. Mean text coming up at 5:45 today, despite what the schedule tells you. The Mariners pregame show will happen at 6 p.m. because the Angels are doing something with their opening day ceremonies, but they have not officially announced it. I don't really get what they're doing.
I don't either. I think we should plead ignorance and just leave at 5:30. All official documents say 6:38 first pitch and a 5:30 pregame, but the Angels have made things needlessly complicated. So, yes, if you are confused, we'll try to keep updating you that we are going till 6, a present to everyone out there. You get to hear us longer. You get to hear us until 6 o'clock instead of 5:30 today.
I wish we were done at 5:30.
It's such a nice day. Yeah.
Well, I could have used that half hour of not talking. But I don't know. Is that so that their fans won't show up late? Is that why they're doing that?
I think so. L.A. traffic, Friday. Come on, they're the Angels. Do you think they have many fans to begin with? They need all 10 people there in attendance. Yeah. So if those 10 people are late, they probably called up and said, I'm going to be leaving work. It's going to be tough to get there. Can you push the game back a little bit? And the Angels said, shh, okay, we will, but don't tell anyone because this would be embarrassing if we push it back for just 10 fans.
Yeah, so. All 10 of us. Yeah. All 10 of us. All right. Well, meanwhile, the Seahawks, we had a nice conversation with John Schneider yesterday for the John Schneider Show. If you guys missed any part of that, that's on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. But they've been on such a run with their drafts over the last few years. I mean, just nailing it. And hopefully that continues this year in a draft that most people are calling a bad draft in terms of the available talent. So we'll see what that looks like. But, one of the things they've talked about repeatedly, John's talked about, is just working together. And he defers all credit. Anytime you try to give him credit, he'll run down a list of different names. Oh, well, this guy and this guy and this guy. And it just seems like there is a true sense of unity and working in concert with each other in that front office that is unique and has really helped what we've seen, whether it's trades, free agents, draft. They're on a run right now of success. And we were talking to him yesterday. He used Rashad Penny as an example as to how the entire staff can help smooth over discrepancies with a potential pick.
And we could have a player that, as a scouting group, we feel like is a third-round player, and Pat may view him as a seventh-round player. So it's like, all right, what are we all missing here? How do we kind of gap this? How do we bridge it? And what does it look like? Is it more of a character thing where we're thinking the guy's got a good upside because he plays hard and he's got great character, or is it like, are we totally missing something? I think I told you before, like Rashad Penny, Pat was the one who was like, now his contact, like his yards after contact are huge. We were kind of arguing about level of comp. So we have changed that a little bit, right? But I thought he was a lane runner. Like in low, just low competition, and then after I sat down and they could legitimately put together like a cut up of like every time he was hit in the backfield or in the backfield, and then yards after contact behind the backfield. That's what it was, right? In the backfield.
It's fascinating, to hear that, and I think a lot that goes on behind the scenes. It's tough to really get a handle on. Well, how does a draft pick actually come to fruition? Like, this guy in this spot gets selected. We know it's John Schneider's show. It's his draft. He has had an idea, and he's outlined to you guys a few times that there are no real surprises when they get to draft day itself. There's no arguments in the room when a pick comes up, when they're on the clock, because they've done all this work to have a range of guys. And it was interesting to hear all of these kind of guests he's brought down to you and Dave over the past couple weeks about what role they play in the process. I would have never even known or thought about, all right, this is what your director of research and analytics, Patrick Ward, does to help with a specific draft pick.
Right.
I just kind of assumed it was more your own players. Well, look, they're not running efficiently, or they're not as optimal as we want to do in their workouts. But to hear that, yeah, there's so much data out there, how they crystallize that data and use it to help find a picture. And that's what it is. And I think you look across all sports too. Some people push back against, quote, analytics in baseball or any other sports. The best teams are using a combination of everything. They use this to inform a decision. It sounds like that's what John Schneider does so well, empowering his staff to be able to have a say. And in the case of Rashad Penny, he was kind of convinced by some other guys around him. So it just kind of stands out, kind of how egoless that John Schneider is to be willing to take all that input and advice. And you cannot argue with the track record these past few seasons.
Yeah, that's one where you hoped he would have been talked out of it, though.
Well, I'm curious
you go
about
with
that.
Chubb over Penny.
But Rashad Penny was that the draft that was Chubb over Penny?
Yeah.
Okay. Penny it's that great what if, because he had that one amazing year, and then he had every other year ruined by injury. And how can you tell that? I know we talked to him. We interviewed Rashad Penny, and you talked to all these guys about him. Specifically, he never had a history of injuries. So sure, in that specific instance, all right, maybe Chubb would have been the better option. But if Penny doesn't get injured, who knows what happens? He did have that great year. And then that was it.
1 year.
1 year.
1 year, that was it. Meanwhile, we were talking about the 30 visits that each team gets. They can bring in these draft prospects. They don't work them out. They got to go through a different route to work them out, but they interview them. They get to know them. And he talks about, monitoring what the other teams are doing with their 30 visits.
Yeah, as much as we possibly can. And then obviously, all the medical information, and we'll go through that with Sam and Ed and Strick and that crew. We'll have one of those coming up here pretty soon too, to see like what, because everybody gives different medical grades. So we've worked with so many different teams over the years to kind of understand how they feel about somebody, how they would place somebody on their board too. And we have Pat and his staff do a really cool job of putting together like a value, grade for somebody so we can weigh that.
I wonder if teams would use these visits as a piece of deception. Like, hypothetically, the Niners bring in a running back that they think the Seahawks would be. They know the Seahawks are looking at running back, so maybe they'll let's bring this guy in just so the Seahawks know we're talking to this guy. Maybe it gets they want to sort of provoke them to move up,
deke them out there.
Yeah, to just. They've got no interest in the guy, but let's use one of our visits and do that so maybe we can get them to jump. Maybe we can get them to overpay for this guy. We can get them to trade away prospects and move up in order to get him because they think we're going to get him right ahead of them. Just moments like that. I wonder if teams play that game.
Yeah, I think it's quite a chess match. You heard Brady kind of getting into a little bit with John Schneider, and they couldn't get into too much specifics, but with Byron Murphy, where they did not bring him in because they didn't want anyone to know about the interest. So on the other end of that spectrum, I'm sure there are teams that bring someone in and then never have any contact moving forward.
No interest
it's a
in them really at all.
Puzzle. What kind of stood out about all that, what you're saying and what John Schneider just said there, it does kind of heighten the importance of relationships with GMs and guys you can trust. And John Schneider mentioned that's what he kind of likes about the league meetings, to reinforce those relationships. And I think when you're in a situation like this where the Seahawks are, you might be able to get more truthful information from teams because they know the Seahawks are not coming up to 9 to draft someone. Or you talk to a GM who's picking in the top 5 or so to get info on a prospect that maybe down the line you use, but know the Seahawks are not going to take in the draft because they're not moving all the way up from 32 to 5, or vice versa when the Seahawks were picking at 5 a few years ago.
Hey, make sure to download the Seattle Sports app where you can listen to every Mariners game all season long. One app, completely free. Enjoy every pitch of Rick Rizz's final season, all in one place and at no cost. It's the easiest way to enjoy Seattle Mariners baseball, and it is free, which is the right price. Meanwhile, we know this guy's got some thoughts on Hard Knocks, the Mariners, the Abandoned Boys. Paul Moyer, a member of the Abandoned Boys, is going to join us next for his weekly conversation. That is coming up next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
You can stream every pitch of every inning of every game all season long Oh, and it's completely free.
It's a tremendous catch.
Only on the Seattle Sports app. That's right. The free Seattle Sports app puts every single Mariners game right in the palm of your hand.
On a platter, come and get it.
One app, every game. Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
Holy smokes, what a play.
Pretty awesome, right? Just like the Mariners.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Home is more than a place to live. It's where the best of life unfolds, where possibility sparks, where community grows, where lives take shape. At the Master Builders Association of King and Snohomish Counties, that belief drives the work our builders, remodelers, and tradespeople do every day. Because when we build more homes, we're building so much more than housing. We're making room for what matters most. Learn more at roomforwhatmatters.com.
Get ready to be transported back to the golden era of rock. It's John Waite with John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. Live at Emerald Queen Casino, April 9th. John Waite and John Cafferty, April 9th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
Hey there, Dawn Riling with Olympic Hot Tub. Ready for family fun and fitness year-round in your own backyard? During our Sweet Spring Savings event, we're adding Endless Pools factory discounts with our already incredible savings. That means you can enjoy up to $16,500 off your dream swim spa. Don't wait. These amazing savings end April 14th. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Thinking about starting weight loss treatment? GoodRx is here to help. We offer FDA-approved GLP-1 medications prescribed by licensed providers, including the Wegovy tablet, with straightforward pricing and pickup at your local pharmacy or delivery to your door. All from America's #1 prescription app. Go to GoodRx.com/weight loss to get started. GoodRx is not insurance. Cancel anytime. #1 prescription app ranked by a third-party study.
Taxes was waiting on the refund you needed yesterday.
All right, your car repair is going to run about $3,000.
Now Taxes is getting back on the road with TurboTax and Credit Karma, where you can get your refund up to 5 days faster and get personalized guidance to take every dollar further. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Deposit a federal refund into Credit Karma Money account and early submission of refund data by IRS required. Terms apply. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Credit Karma is not a bank.
Progressive knows you think the grass is always greener. Like maybe you ride a motorcycle. But today, it's raining. So you wish you had an RV. But if you did, you'd have to listen to some guy parked next to you at a campsite plays acoustic guitar. Now, before you start wishing you had a boat, remember, your brother-in-law would invite himself every weekend.
Permission to come aboard, Captain?
But one thing that is greener is the money you could save when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
The Mariners are celebrating 50 seasons with legendary events all year. On April 10th, Ichiro gets his statue outside T-Mobile Park, and the first 40,000 fans take home a replica, thanks to BDA, with 20 signed by Ichiro himself. On May 2nd, it's Randy Johnson's number retirement ceremony, presented by T-Mobile. And on August 8th, the top 50 greatest Mariners players are unveiled on 50 Seasons Celebration Night, presented by Daktronics. See the full schedule and get your tickets at mariners.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners begin their first road trip of the season tonight in Anaheim. J.P. Crawford is in the lineup. He's sitting 7th against lefty Reed Detmers for the Angels. Pre-game coverage begins right here at 6 o'clock. First pitch will be expected to be a little bit later than what is listed at 6:38. So, yes, a 6 o'clock pregame right here on Seattle Sports. The top prospect in baseball, 19-year-old shortstop Connor Griffin, in the middle of his MLB debut today for the Pirates, had an RBI double and scored a run in his first at-bat, drew a walk the second time up, and just struck out. So he's had a pretty nice day so far for the Pirates. That comes a day after he and the Pirates reportedly agreed to a 9-year, $140 million contract.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
This is the moment many wait for.
The most entertaining.
A man of wisdom, a man of experience, Dave.
The most informative.
To bring light to a dark subject. To bring positivity to a negative world.
The incredible Paul Moyer.
Moyer out. We'll see what kind of positivity he brings today, see how the Abandoned Boys are feeling about this Mariners 3-4 start, and talk about Hard Knocks, all that stuff with a man who knows a thing or two about all of it. With us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline, you know him, you love him. Paul Moyer is here with us. How are you, man?
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, good. Sorry you jumped out on me for a second. Yeah, well, I've got one of the Abandoned Boys in the car with me today, so he'll either be punching me on the side if I'm not accurate in our assessment. As I just asked him, how are we feeling about the Mariners?
Well, what is your? Let's get your perspective, your level of concern, panic after 7 games. I will remind you, as I've been reminding listeners, after 7 games last year, the Mariners were 3-4, and then they went on to get swept by the Giants, so they were 3-7. And we know how that season ended. How you feeling now?
Oh, I feel great now. You know, I was actually talking to Nick here, and I think we're both, and Band of Boys kind of the same, disappointed in that we really feel like if we're not the best team in the American League, we got to be top 2. And I think we just found out, hey, we're not quite maybe at the level. Cleveland's a very good team. Obviously, we know what New York is. So I think it's more disappointment than anything. I think this is a really important series here against the Angels to get right. I mean, we got to get on the winning side. We got to win a series because we got Texas, Houston, San Diego, Texas. And that's gonna be interesting when that's all done. Where we are in this chase here early in the season. But I again, for us not having our 3 highest paid players, at least for hitters, everyday players, just having a horrible start to the season. I didn't think Naylor would be one of them. I think you got to feel pretty good. Certainly with Cole Young, I mean, that's impressive. Donovan with his bat, I mean, the third base side still got to get worked out for him a little bit. But I think it's just more disappointment, and I'll feel much better if we sweep the Angels or win this series.
Yeah, Paul, when you just mentioned Brendan Donovan there, certainly undeniably good what he's done hitting so far. Defensively, there's been an acclimation. It's been shaky at times. How do you feel about him at third base right now?
Yeah, and what I mean by that is I'm not confident he's going to be a great third baseman. I'm just not sure he quite has that quick reaction time. And he's a Gold Glove second baseman, so he's clearly a good infielder. But that third base is unlike any other position. I mean, it's such a hot corner. It's such a different throw, different arm angles. I think we give this time because I think the Mariners have history that they have turned guys at third base to be very good. I mean, Suarez was an okay third baseman, and I thought by the time we got done with him, he was, I don't want to say he was elite, but he was as good as he could be. And so I think same thing there with Donovan. But if that part doesn't turn around a little bit, and again, he's had 3 errors. That's a lot this early in the season. Do you move him back to second base? Do you possibly say, hey, Cole Young, can you do that? I know that's a lot of moving parts there. But I look, Donovan at the leadoff spot, whatever. I don't care. Matter of fact, here's the other thing with Donovan. Stop moving him. If a lefty is pitching, keep him as the leadoff. He'll figure it out. So I think, he's been really a godsend for us in that leadoff position.
Yeah, he's been very good at the plate, better than advertised, I would say. So that part of his game is great. We'll see what kind of tolerance or what kind of grace they have with him at third base, because Colt Emerson is looming in the shadows. J.P. Crawford is back in the lineup tonight, so we'll see how things go there. But as far as the pitching goes, I'm curious to get your take, because the first time through, Paul, they were 1 through 5 outstanding, with the exception being Logan Gilbert, his first start. I thought he was decent. I didn't think he was great. 5 1/3, gave up 3 runs, but the next 4 were phenomenal, capped off by Emerson Hancock going, no hits through 6 innings, 9 strikeouts. And we saw Logan again not look great. Any concern from you on Logan, or do you just chalk it up to, hey, it's early and he's going to find his groove?
Well, I chalk it up to, again, I think Cleveland and the Yankees are, those are playoff teams right there. I mean, you just saw what Cleveland did. They took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. That's saying something with that lineup. The one thing I was impressed with Logan, I think his stuff looks really good. I mean, I don't know if it's his 2-seam, the one that rides into right-handers. It moves more than I remember it last year. And again, the whole challenge for him is, it just can't ride that far out of the zone. You got to make these guys swing at some of these that are just outside the zone and not always get the strikeout. But I don't have a problem with Logan. Look, if Logan becomes our 5th best pitcher, we're in pretty good shape. The Hancock one is holy Toledo. If he can do that, what he did the first time, that sweeper and some of, I think he's really added 2 pitches to his arsenal.
By the way,
he has a chance.
We should tell you, Paul, that you're going to be disappointed in tonight's lineup because Ref Schneider is leading off. They're facing a lefty, so they've got Ref Schneider leading off, and they've got Donovan down there batting behind Rosarena.
Yeah, I don't get that, and the reason why I don't get it, I don't have a problem with putting righties in the lineup versus lefties. I don't have a problem with that, but they don't move Naylor. I don't think they move any of the other left-handers when in the everyday lineup. He's capable. We know that. And he's a really good leadoff hitter. And even if he doesn't get hits, he also works the count better, and he takes walks. So that's my only thing is let this guy, man, he deserves the right to stay at the leadoff spot versus anybody. And I get what Wilson's doing. He's going to play with his lineup, and they'll settle into something eventually. And again, if that's what it is and it doesn't bother Donovan, then so be it. But I think he's capable and good enough that we don't need to be moving him up and down the lineup when a lefty starts.
I'll just say one more note on that. So far this year, he's hitting 400 versus lefties. He's 4 for 10 versus lefties. He's 6 for 14 versus righties. So he's doing great against both. But yeah, so far the returns are pretty good when he faces a lefty.
Well, and my other issue too on that is I get it, they've got guys on the bench that'll come in and bat potentially, in that leadoff spot when the bullpen comes in. But that's the problem. All of a sudden you start a lefty. Most teams don't have, more than one lefty in the bullpen, sometimes 2, but it's usually just 1. So now to me, you're halfway through the lineup, the clutch time. It's at the end of the game. That's 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th inning, and I don't have Donovan at the top of the lineup. Mm-hmm. And that's what's fun about baseball. We can question all the moves they do, and I do think. Look, I think by the end of April, they will have set in with the lineup and the rotations, and we'll see. I mean, last year in the second half, they moved Julio and they put Cal down at the second spot. And maybe they do the same thing eventually here when this lineup finally plays out.
Hey, Paul, how do you feel about ABS so far and everything we've seen in just a little over a week's worth of games here?
Is the ABS the replay thing?
Yeah, the challenges.
Okay, good.
Yeah, the balls and strikes. Yep.
I just want to make sure my acronyms. I get lost in these acronyms today. I didn't love it against the Yankees because they won so many of them. Would they get 5 of them in one game?
They were 5 for 5 that game.
But I like it. I don't feel like it's too much. I feel like, okay, some of them are so borderline that you're like, okay, there's not like these egregious ones that are all over the place. I think what we're finding out is, the umps are actually pretty good. And that ball moves a ton and it's fast. I mean, you got to have good eyes back there. So I think just having that second piece to it where you go, no, I know, both as a pitcher or a hitter, the catcher, I like it. I don't think it slowed the game down, and for the most part, so far, so good.
I love it. I think it's great. Get the call right, and it's so quick. That's the beauty of it. That there's, if anything, the only complaint we've heard to this point, Paul, is people feel like they should have more opportunity. There should be at least 3 challenges per team instead of the 2. So I agree. I think it's if you were a manager, would you be a guy that said, all right, we're coming up with a strategy. We don't do it in this situation. No runners on, no score, or you can only do it in these certain situations? Or would you be the guy that says, look, challenge whenever you want, but you better be right?
Yeah, that's the old coaching one I had when I was a player is, hey, you can go underneath the block, but you better make that tackle, otherwise you're wrong. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to go underneath the block, just in case. I think early in the game, you got to tell the batter, hey, it's got to be egregious. I mean, you have to be 100% right. And, we want to try to save these, in clutch times. Or, again, if there's nobody on base and there's 2 strikes, you got a 2-2 count and you're doing that, I'm like, that's probably not a good risk reward for you. So I'm definitely going to have a strategy because those challenges are way too important.
All right, Paul, we got some Seahawks news earlier this week. They're going to be on Hard Knocks for the first time ever. How do you feel about that?
Boy, I don't know. So my first thing was no team has ever made it to the Super Bowl on Hard Knocks. And I'm like, hey, we're the defending Super Bowl champs. I want to run this thing back. And so I'm looking at the offseason. There's so much going on, right? I mean, there's such a demand for the Seahawks, particularly, Mike McDonald and John Schneider, and I'm sure all the players too. I think this Hard Knocks thing with all the social media, I don't think a lot of teams have handled it well. With that being said, I think Mike McDonald is ready for this. I think he will have a very good message that, we're going to be the first team that ever does the Hard Knocks, makes it to the Super Bowl and wins it. And he's going to have a message on how they manage the social media. What's encouraged me in this off season is I haven't heard a lot of noise from any of our players. It's really the guys who are getting all the media attention and stuff. It's John Schneider and Mike McDonald. And if you guys remember back in 2013, it was all about Russell and Legion of Boom and Marshawn. And, there was a lot of drama with Percy Harvin, and we found out about fights. And I just feel like the pulse of this team, the type of players they are, the personalities, I think they will handle it well. But it is a spotlight, and I think it's a distraction coming off of a Super Bowl. So I'm really curious to see how Coach McDonald, John Schneider, and the rest of the guys handle it.
Wouldn't it have been more fun to see that team, though, with all of those personalities, with Michael Bennett and Marshawn Lynch and Sherm and Pete, and that would have been wildly entertaining.
Absolutely, especially if you're not a Seahawks fan. But part of me is like, I'm kind of curious. There's going to be so much media there, and we're a part of it, right? The team and stuff, and I'll probably be down there a little bit more than usual, I just want to see it. I'm just curious.
You're just looking for FaceTime.
On it. He wants to be on the show.
He wants some FaceTime on HBO.
Well, I mean, I want them to see what a former player at my age still looks like, and so I'm really just curious about the production of it and how many cameras are around, and how they follow. I think that's fascinating to me. I think it's going to be really cool because we know the team. It's be the first time we've, as fans and 12s, get to experience that. But I'm at the end of the day, man. I want to get back to the Super Bowl with this team, and I'm hoping it's not such a distraction mentally. And a lot of people are going to say, "Oh, they're professionals." I go, "Yeah, but they're human beings, and there's emotion to that." And I'm hoping there's not a big story that pops from this, and does it cause, conflict and all that with the team? I don't think it will, but you asked what my thoughts are on it. Kind of excited, but also a little bit leery of it.
Hey, we saw, obviously, the big deal that they signed JSN to, the big extension, well-deserved. He's a quality kid, so you don't worry about how he handles the money and the attention and all that. You look at the division rival, the L.A. Rams, and Puka Nacua, who's now entered himself into rehab after, uttering one dumb thing in public after another and being accused of some poor behavior, to say the very least. We'll see what turns out with that. But if you're the Rams, you look at it, there's no debating who he is on the field. He is a wildly talented, effective wide receiver, to say the very least. But would you be reluctant to commit that kind of money to a guy who's shown to be a bit, lacking in judgment, to say the very least, and now he's entered himself in a rehab program?
Absolutely. Look, he is, again, I hope, everything works out for him. He's their bitter rival, but he's fun to compete against. But I've seen this story before, and what concerns me about him, it's who he hangs out with. And if you don't surround yourselves with like-minded people, and in a positive way, the right way, if you don't surround yourself with people who can truly mentor you, how to be an adult. Look, and everybody matures differently. These are young men making a lot of money, and all the attention in the world at them, and so it's not as easy as we all think it is. It's actually difficult. But if he doesn't surround himself, and that's what I would be, and I think Sean McVay will do a good job, is that, hey, you know what, these are the parameters. And so however they structure the deal, there's going to be those type of pieces in that contract. And they probably won't have a lot of patience with him because there's just too much money on that. So I'm curious how they do it. I'm curious how much they guarantee him. I don't think they're going to do it this year. I would be reluctant to do it this year, especially with what's gone on, and I'm glad he's out there getting help. So, but yeah, I think it's definitely going to cost him some money, and particularly I think it's going to cost him some guaranteed money.
Well, Paul, Bob and I were just kind of talking about this before we came on, watching 19-year-old Connor Griffin make his MLB debut for the Pirates, and then the reports that he signed a $140 million contract. We were just remarking on how that would not go over well if it was one of us at 19 years old, and just the weight of getting all that money and that attention. I guess it does kind of speak to, trusting the person, right? And talking about JSN, and then you compare that to Colt Emerson. This feels like when you make an investment like that, you're believing in the person, who they are off the field as much as their production on the field.
Yeah, I think, with the Mariners doing it really one of the first times with Julio, even though Julio had already played I believe a season. Yeah, he had already played one season, but he's still very young. Look, the Mariners are making a very good business decision on Colt Emerson, and I think Pittsburgh's doing the same thing there too. It's like these are smaller markets. They can't afford for these guys to become superstars and then get to free agency. They'll lose them. But what they can do, and I'm sure you guys already talked about this, but what they can do is give them security. It's a win-win situation. We're going to bet on you. If it doesn't pan out, that hurts us, but it doesn't crush us as an organization. And you got a chance to be here for the next 10, 12 years. I think those are good business decisions. But you're right, man. You better know everything about that kid, his work ethic, how he was brought up. Just not worrying about him off the baseball paths there. So, yeah, I think you're going to see more and more of that, especially these groups like the A's or the Athletics. And, obviously we've seen it now twice with Seattle and now Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it does represent a gamble on both sides. We've seen it bite the Mariners. Evan White signed that deal. Now, it wasn't nearly as big. That was a $24 million deal, and he wasn't a problem character-wise. He just couldn't stay healthy, and they offered a deal to Jared Kelenic, remember? And Kelenic and his reps said no thanks, and they were betting on them. They bet on themselves, and they lost that bet. So, yeah, they've attempted it other times, and probably glad that Kelenic in that instance said, no, I'm going to bet on me, and I'm going to be a superstar.
Yeah, thank you for that one. Is he in AAA somewhere? I don't even know where he is anymore.
With the White Sox.
Oh, man. Yeah, feel for those guys. I mean, that's a lot of pressure, and obviously that game is hard. It is. It's hard, man. If you can't hit a certain pitch, they're going to pitch it to you the rest of your life, and if you can't figure it out, you're done. But I tell you what, watching Colt Emerson and watching some of his highlights from yesterday and some of his fielding, man, at worst, he's going to be good. At worst, he's a special player.
By the way, is your worst nightmare Arizona winning it all?
I can't even think about it. And so just
we're talking
to let
about
you
the
know,
tournament for people out there, by the way. Paul's an ASU alum, so Arizona's in the mix, obviously, in the Final Four. So, yeah, I would imagine that would be a gut punch.
Let's put it this way. I have Michigan in my basketball pool, and I have a chance to win my pool. I need Michigan to win it all. And one of my former colleagues, who's a huge Arizona fan, he and we don't talk usually during March Madness because I hate Arizona so much. I can't root for him for anything. So go Michigan.
Well, you better block C-Rog's number. Curtis is going to be sending you a few texts Saturday night if this goes the wrong way for you.
Curtis and we've settled. We've settled in. We tolerate each other now.
Cold War now.
Yep, I love him as a person. I would love him more if he never went to Arizona. That's all.
Well put. Paul, as always, great stuff. We appreciate you, my friend. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk next week.
Appreciate you. Tell Wyman to quit ducking me.
We will. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, guys. Be good.
There you go. There's Paul Moyer, everybody with us each and every week. If you missed any part of that conversation, you can find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Just click the podcast tab. Click on our picture. It'll be right there waiting. And don't forget, click subscribe. It's easy. It's free, more importantly. And that way everything just shows up for you. You don't have to worry about remembering. Right?
It was pretty funny. So Moyer chimed in on the Dave Wyman birthday post where I put out the clip of the Dan Marino interception.
Oh, yeah.
And someone responded, he got tackled by a quarterback. And Moyer said, yeah, he got his legs taken out by a slow, non-athletic quarterback, but it was versus a Hall of Fame quarterback. And he made a nice play on the ball.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, he's defending his teammate. There you go.
That's a fair point. Yeah. Yeah, there were a lot of mean texts or mean responses to that video.
I think that's why I maybe subconsciously did that when I knew Dave would not be here, would not see it. It is a great moment. You picked off Dan Marino.
Yeah.
But then in watching it back, you can tell that Wyman slams the ball down because Marino tackled him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a little annoyed by that.
Greatest and maybe only tackle of Dan Marino's career. Meanwhile, a lot more to dive into when it comes to the Seahawks offseason. We'll get to a couple of those conversations and best of the rest coming your way next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
ESPN senior MLB insider Jeff Passan every Tuesday morning at 8:30 with Brock and Salk.
Brought to you by your Western Washington Toyota dealers.
Colt Emerson, 8-year extension.
Free agent years are incredibly valuable. If you can get those at a discount, when you have Julio Rodriguez and Cal Raleigh and Colt Emerson locked up for the better part of half a decade, you're in a really good spot.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Andre. Andre, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
My wife and I were going to get married, and we wanted to combine our insurance for both home and auto.
Were they able to save you any money?
The money they quoted us was actually the same as what we were paying separately. However, the coverage that we received was immensely greater than what we were previously receiving. It's quite scary how unprotected we were with our previous coverage. Under First Mark, I'd probably say we doubled the coverage that we had. it was a huge deal.
What would you tell others they can expect when they make that call to First Mark?
Take the 15-minute phone call. It's totally free. It's not going to cost me a thing. And the very least that could happen is just gain a better understanding. The best that could happen is you could either save money or get much better coverage, which is exactly what happened.
Andre did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
Meet the company electrifying the marine industry. ARC, a fully electric boat that feels like a luxury EV. Significantly less maintenance and service, ARC boats are easy to operate and maintain. Go to arcboats.com/demo. ARC, you have to see it to believe it.
How was your break?
It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code THRIVE25 for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code THRIVE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill-up. That's THRIVE25.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Visit America's Car Museum now, where history roars to life. If you loved Ford versus Ferrari, see Shelby Cobras and GT40s in the birth of the American supercar. Cruise-ins, drive-ins, race simulators, fun for all ages. Plan today at americascarmuseum.org.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, two-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
On top of home and auto, Progressive protects your boat, RV, and motorcycle so you can explore the unknown.
Actually, we just take the RV to the same campground every year.
Well, maybe you can catch your own dinner on your boat.
Oh, we can actually get pizza delivered there from this brick oven place we love.
Will you at least try a new topping?
Honestly, probably not. We kind of have a go-to order.
Fine. Just bundle home or auto insurance with your outdoor vehicles with Progressive and stay protected when you go, I guess, where you've gone before. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
This hour of Wyman and Bob is brought to you by K2 Vision RLE.
We know you love listening to us, but there are great discussions happening all over our station.
No, you idiot. It's the Bills.
You can die when you're dead.
Yep, just not good at bats.
It's time for the best of the rest.
How dare you? It is Best of the Rest. We take a listen to some of the conversations happening with Bump and Stacy, Brock and Salk, and then we render the proper opinion on said topics. And we'll start with Brock. I'm just kidding for those of you out there. They'll start texting into Brock and Salk and Bump and Stacy. You hear what Bob said about you?
Yeah, sometimes sarcasm is lost on people, so I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, it's all love. It's all love. We'll start with Brock and Salk, and they had Phillip Rivers on the show, and they were talking about, after that conversation with him, how, in their opinion, and his comments led him to focus on the Seahawks defensive system and how dependent it is on Mr. Nick Emmanwori.
Well, what did it look like without him?
Not as good.
They were not quite as good, and that was early in the season, and you're still figuring out kind of your linebacker situation and your D-line rotation and, other components to that. I mean, you weathered it. I don't think all of a sudden he fell off a cliff. He still did some great things.
Mm-hmm.
I think Spencer Rattler and some of those boys would say that was no fun playing in that group. But, it changed it, put Spoon there. I think it kind of accelerates. I know why you asked that, rightfully so. I think that may accelerate what you do in this draft. There's not another Nick Emmanwori. I'll ask DJ about the safety from Toledo because he's the one kid that's got some specs as far as size and length and speed. They're not quite to Nick's level, and they'll probably be overdrafted because of Emmanwori. But when Phil said, it's that box, that defense is built, first and foremost, it should have been music to your ears, Salk. I mean, that's what you want, line scrimmage in that box, and he throws Emmanwori into that mix. It probably does reinforce. You could use a little help on the back end. You could use a little help at corner. Maybe another creature that's kind of this hybrid guy that's a safety linebacker, right?
That clip adds up more Brock conversation than has ever been played during this segment on our show.
Well, the past couple weeks hadn't even been there, so good. He came back strong.
Oh, is that why we didn't hear from him? He wasn't on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Salk was just shutting him out. Yeah. It is amazing that Emmanwori had that sort of impact because he played early, got hurt early, and then you were without him. So we had no sense of missing him. There was no, oh, man, he's down. What do you do without him? Because you didn't know what he was bringing to the table. He got hurt right out of the gates. And then once he established himself and showed his versatility that he could play in all 3 levels, I said it last year, he was my favorite pick in the draft, not because I thought he would be the best player, but just he was projected to be a first-round pick. Saw his clips in college. He just looked like a player, and I was excited about them getting him. Having said that, there's no way I would have bet he had that impact. If you told me he would have this kind of impact to where, fast forward to the Super Bowl, and he was hurt. Remember, we saw the video of him getting out of the Escalade, and he was limping, and I think he had a wrap on his foot, and there was a legitimate level of concern, like, oh, no, what do the Seahawks do now? There's no way I would have bet on that kind of impact to where, he's a rookie. I'm sure he'll have some great moments. He'll have some rookie moments, and he's going to grow, and I think he's going to be a good player. That was my feel. He went so far and above anything I would have predicted, and I marvel at how dependent and how important to this defense he became in year 1.
Yeah, it's because you can't replicate what he does, and that's why we've heard some draft analysts coming out of the combine. They're looking for that Nick Emmanwori, or even as Brock just said there, but you can't just find every single draft a guy that can equally be as effective at the line of scrimmage or deep in coverage or even coming up in that linebacker role. And so what it does to a quarterback, you have to account for him at all times, and then it just heightens what the rest of the defense does well. So the impact of a Nick Emmanwori is lessened if you don't have a good defense around him, but he's the piece that makes it truly elite. If the Seahawks didn't have a great defensive line, his impact is not felt as much. But because they're generating pressure, you don't have to bring extra blitzers. Nick Emmanwori can then kind of free range and be disruptive. And you need someone who, is big enough to take on ball carriers, shed blockers, quick enough to cover receivers and physical enough to disrupt them in the secondary as well. And he can do all that. You don't find guys like that. That's why he specifically makes that team so good and why everyone tries now to find and will try to find this version on their team.
Yeah, just an amazing player, and amazing he had that kind of impact in year one. All right, moving on. Bump and Stacy talking about a unique challenge for the Seahawks this season.
Do you think this is much of a factor for you when we talk about this team and as we go through the offseason? Do you think it's going to come up at all, just kind of how short it's felt?
No, I think the hardest part is just the beginning. The quick turnaround, actually getting back to the facility, Mike McDonald coming up with the offseason program, the phases you go through. I think that's the hardest part. But once you're in it, you're in it. It's back to work. I mean, these guys get paid a lot of money to do this. So, no, I think it is a factor, but I don't think in September we're going to be talking about, man, that short offseason is really showing up. You know, I think that, if anything, it affects the players' recovery, the rehab guys who are banged up. Like, what does that do for Zach Charbonnet? It just accelerates things a bit because of the short time. But once the season starts, they'll be fine.
Yeah, I think so too. It's something I think is probably more relevant for like a scouting department, right? Like John Schneider, he's someone where it's like you have to keep one eye on your team as they go through Super Bowl and be prepared to make roster moves if you need to with injuries and whatever. And obviously you're watching your team in the Super Bowl. Oh, and then all of a sudden you're leaping headfirst into draft prep and the combine and all of that stuff. I'm sure guys are still squeezing in their vacations and feeling it just fine.
Yeah, I agree with Stacy. I think it's both of them because they're both basically saying the same thing. Once they're in it, they're in it. The players are going to be fine. Those that are dealing with injuries. Look, Zach got hurt before the end of the season, so it's not like, hey, he's worn out. He played all the way into the Super Bowl, then he got hurt. Then you're starting to talk about that compressed amount of time to get ready. He was already done, unfortunately, before all of that. So his time frame isn't impacted whether they won the Super Bowl or whether they got knocked out in the first round. Other guys that might be dealing with nagging injuries, yeah, I totally get that. And maybe that does have an impact on them out of the gates, perhaps. But I think it is more about preparing for the draft and preparing for the season, the front office guys doing their scouting, things like that time frame being compressed.
I am curious to see in the case of someone like Gray Zabel, and this was something that Jalen Sundell brought up. He was on some podcast, and this kind of got a lot of attention because it was crazy to think about. So Gray Zabel played all the way to the national championship in the 2024-2025 season, went right into the combine, then right into the draft, right into off-season workouts, and then OTAs and all of that. Never had a true break. And then the Seahawks play as long as possible. So he hasn't stopped in about 15-plus months. So to see how he looks, hopefully if there are some nagging things for him, he gets to rest up. And yeah, it's a few months, so I'm sure it's not going to be much different than a team that lost a month earlier. So that case, and then maybe the other extreme of someone like DeMarcus Lawrence. And I think that's perhaps why those retirement rumors popped up, is he's looking at the grind of what they just went through. He won a Super Bowl. Now all of a sudden you're looking at your calendar like, oh, wait, we're coming back in 2 months?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I don't know if I want to put my body through this all over again because I've played in the league for, 15-some years or however long he's played in the league, and now he's just achieved the ultimate goal. So I think only in extremes like that, a rookie needing to recover after barely any time off, and then a veteran who has gone through it year after year after year, but 90% of the players or more probably doesn't impact.
All right, last one coming from Brock and Salk, and they break down what it is they feel they learned from the Mariners' 3-4 homestand to start the season.
Against two likely playoff teams makes it sound a little bit better. Probably could have and should have taken 3 of 4 from Cleveland, but also could have easily been swept by the Yankees. Thankfully, they had the walk-off win in Game 1 of the series. So what did we learn? What did we learn from now the first week of the season, from the opening homestand, 7 straight games? First thing for me is actually not a Mariner take, but that Yankees pitching is legit. It really is. They're better than they were last year. They're going to add Garrett Cole back to this. They're going to add Carlos Rodon back to this. Like the conversation we had last year of, hey, the American League is wide open, so this is a great opportunity to take it. I don't know whether the American League is as wide open as it was last year. We talked about that before the season started, and after watching the Yankees, I feel even more so. Like, I think that's a very good baseball team. The offense is good outside of Aaron Judge. It's not great, but the pitching is actually spectacular.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that, and I think they would co-sign in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Where they scored 1 run in 3 games down in the Bay. You didn't do a whole lot more, right? You scratched out, you competed, you got to their bullpen, you did some damage late, you were competitive. Obviously, Cal delivers in a big moment in game one to get you that one, and you got one of the three, but those two starters on back-to-back days absolutely murdered your offense.
Yeah, apparently you learn more about your competition than your own team, which that's what we're going to learn about the Angels. We're going to learn about the Rangers and the Astros. That's who you face in the next 10 games, and this is a very consequential stretch, just as a litmus test, just to see where you kind of stand. It doesn't dictate the end of the season, but it gives you it's a nice barometer. It's a nice way to read where you stand in comparison to these teams. And the Astros, who are sitting atop the division again at 5-2, are they really that team? We'll see. You got 4 with them here at T-Mobile Park after the series with the Angels and the Rangers.
Yeah, and retroactively, I think after this weekend, you do learn maybe more about the Yankees pitching, because if the Mariners offense lights it up, you're like, all right, those pitchers were really, really good. Same thing with the Guardians. They went on and beat the Dodgers in 2 of 3. You kind of look at that Mariners-Guardians series and say, yeah, Mariners are right there. They arguably could have won the series. Hey, the Guardians are going to be a good team as we expect. So the Mariners are right in the mix of that. I think you learn that there's a tier of these teams. The Mariners are right below the Yankees right now, but still in the mix of all these good teams in the American League.
Meanwhile, a forgotten villain is about to make his return to the sports world. We'll dive into that in WHYMAN. Coming your way next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
The Mariners have signed their best prospect, Colt Emerson, young shortstop, just 20 years old, yet to play a game in the big leagues. 8 years, $95 million guaranteed. There are some wins in here for the player, and I think a lot of wins in here for the team as well.
It's a win for the player to make generational money, and it's a win for the organization that if he becomes half the player that you believe he can become, that deal is going to be very favorable to your budget.
On Seattle Sports.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Seattle Sports has your last shot to participate in the madness. Head to seattlesports.com/win to fill out your 4-team bracket. It's one final chance to join in on the Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. And the winner of the 4-team competition will win a $250 Visa gift card. Register and find complete rules at seattlesports.com/win. Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text INVEST to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text INVEST to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text INVEST to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text INVEST to 64,000.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Join the Dugout every Tuesday from 1 to 2 on the Bump and Stacy Show, powered by Top Fitness. Top Fitness is your #1 place for home fitness and exercise equipment, with locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue. Visit topfitness.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Mariners and Angels in Anaheim tonight. First pitch at 6:38, 5:30 pregame. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Jake was suffering from osteoarthritis when his doctors asked him to consider surgery.
However, there's a 9-month recovery period where essentially you're not walking and you're not putting much in the way of weight on.
That wasn't going to work for him, so he decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I heard the ads, and that caused me to do due diligence.
And how are you doing now?
There's not really any pain now at all. I have no limitations in what I want to do.
Wow, so you're able to do anything you want to do?
I recently played golf at Cycle House down in Pebble Beach, walked 18 holes, which I hadn't been able to do for a number of years, and then went for about a 2-mile walk with my friend.
I take it you'd recommend stem cell therapy to others then?
Absolutely. Had I known then what I know now, I would have done this several years ago and saved myself a lot of pain and suffering and agony and limitation to activity.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Why, man? Why?
Lunch has been canceled today due to lack of hustle. Deal with it.
He's a habitual line stepper. What were you thinking? What are you doing?
Why are you the way that you are?
It's the Why Man of the Week.
Why Man is presented by Mazda of Everett. And we start out with Roger Goodell, everybody's favorite pincushion. Makes it sound like the NFL is more than ready to use and move forward with replacement referees this season.
We obviously have obligations to our fans, to everybody in the National Football League to play, and we will be prepared to play. And so we are taking the appropriate steps to be ready, but we're also keenly focused on negotiations. So we'd like to get a negotiated deal, and we certainly are focused on that.
I would really hope that they would do that. I mean, to say the very obvious, you don't. There's no win here by starting the season. You don't win the negotiation because you said, "All right, we're calling your bluff. We're going to start the season with replacement refs." That'll show you. That's not a win. You're cheating your fans, and you're diminishing your product potentially. With all due respect to the guys they bring in, I'm sure they're going to try very hard, and they're going to take every step they can to get them up to speed in terms of how they handle their business at this level. But I don't think it's realistic to expect any sort of lateral move. You're taking a step back. That's the reality, and you're doing a disservice to your fans. You're doing a disservice to the teams. Get it figured out. I'm not saying you acquiesce. You just give in and give them whatever they want. I still don't know beyond full time. Give me the details. What are they asking for versus what are you offering? there's got to be a way to find that middle ground without going to this level because nobody wins with this.
Well, I think you could just give them what they want to. I don't think it's absurd, but if you look at the NFL makes over $10 billion in rights deals. That's it, in rights deals alone. Then that's not even taking into account all the money they make from merchandise deals, licensing, ticket sales, concessions, everything like that. So $10 billion in rights deals alone. And then there's the big article that came out today that they're expected to make nearly $16 billion per year in their next rights deal coming up. So sure, you're not going to pay some exorbitant amount for the referees because then they could hold you feet to the fire year in and year out. But if it is just the difference of they want to be full-time and make that comfortable living, because as Brady was kind of getting into, we saw an estimate of maybe what a top official makes. But if you're breaking into the league and you're not full-time and you aren't making close to the top end of what officials are making, labor's always going to be on the bad side of these billionaires versus millionaires when it comes to players and just people trying to make a living here. So I'm always going to side with those people trying to make a living. And the fact that the NFL, we know they print money. This should not be an issue, even if it is to the point where you're going to go start training replacement refs, because the league is just in too good of a place to risk anything like that happening. Not even to mention what you and Brady talked about yesterday, opening itself up to gambling and the fear of what could happen when you bring in replacement officials.
Yeah, that to me was one of the strongest points made in an article I read earlier about, one of the downsides of this beyond what you see on the field is these guys, these replacement refs come in knowing this is not your job for long. It could be a month, it could be a game, 2 games, the whole season, but you eventually, the real guys, the guys who occupy these spots are coming back, and you're going to go back and make whatever it is they make at the smaller college level, which I can't imagine as much. So knowing that, if you're one of those guys and some big baller comes up and says, hey, man, I'm going to give you $50,000 to make sure this game goes the right way, or you make a call that does this, that, or the other, and here's a $50,000, $100,000, I don't know what they give them. I'm just throwing that out there, but maybe many would say no, but there's got to be somebody in that group going, you know what? I don't make this in 2 years of my job. I'm going to get it in one fell swoop. Why not?
Yeah, and gambling is much more prevalent and much more in the mainstream than it was, what was this now, 14 years ago when they had replacement refs.
Yeah.
So the proliferation of online gambling has made this a much bigger issue if you are putting replacement refs into games this season.
Yeah, there's just no win.
There's no way they should do this.
There's no win for anybody. Just get it done. Get it done. Meanwhile, Adam Schefter talking about Deshaun Watson. We forget about Deshaun Watson signing that fully guaranteed deal in Cleveland for an astronomical amount of money. He's been an absolute disaster when he's been on the field. He's a disaster off the field. The whole thing's been horrible. Talked about Watson will likely be the starter for the Browns going into this season.
I think that's been one of the least talked about, biggest stories going into the season. Mm-hmm. The fact that Deshaun Watson could wind up being the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. I think that's absolutely on the table. I think that it feels like it's moving towards that right now. Now, Todd Monken comes in, and who knows exactly what he's going to do, but they're going to take a look at everybody. Todd Monken said at breakfast this morning that he hasn't decided, at least publicly, how the quarterback rotation will work out in OTAs. He's going to lean on people who've had experience there. Shador's had some experience. Dylan Gabriel not being there, like that. There's a message there. The fact that he's not there, I think.
How about that? If they open the season with first of all, how's Shador Sanders going to respond to that? He's a Pro Bowler. Come on. But
I'm sure some moody social media posts.
Yeah, probably some cryptic posts out there. But yeah, I don't know. How is that going to be received by fans in Cleveland? I mean, if you're just talking. At one point, he was one of the bright young stars in this league. We were marveling at what he was doing with the Texans, especially in that game when they faced off with the Seahawks and the quarterbacks combined threw for close to 1,000 yards or maybe exceeded. It was just a crazy game. He's throwing it all over the place. By all accounts, was this great guy. He was just a shining star, and then obviously everything came to light and all of that turned. If you're a Cleveland Browns fan, are you like, we got all this guaranteed money invested in this guy. Let's get something out of him. I hope he turns into a star. Or are you, as a fan, going, I don't care how much they spend. I don't want to see the guy on the field.
I don't know why the Browns want to deal with this headache. And at this point, even how hilariously bad the contract was, this is his final year. So you can get rid of that. We've seen teams make massive losses to get rid of quarterbacks like Kyler Murray or like Russell Wilson when the Broncos took a huge hit of guaranteed money to get rid of Russell Wilson. Kyler Murray, the Cardinals just did it. It's $44 million this year for Deshaun Watson, but that's it. That's the final year of his contract. So at this point, why are you bringing yourself back into this mess that you've kind of gotten fortunate to be away from? Because he hasn't played in, 2+ seasons? It's been awful. So you don't need him back. You don't need this headache. The fact that he is probably the best candidate performance-wise, even after not playing for years, says a lot to the sorry state of affairs for the Cleveland quarterbacks.
All right, last one quickly. This is from LeBron James on a podcast called Bob Does Sports. So there goes my title. Talking about, I guess he was feeling pretty comfortable there, talking about how much he hates going to the city of Memphis to play the Grizzlies.
Staying at the diet at 41 years old. You think I want to do that? Being in Memphis on a random ass Thursday. I'm not like the first guy to even talk about it in the NBA. Like, we all like, you guys have to move. Just go over to Nashville. You got Vanderbilt over there. You got the NASCAR. You got a stadium. Don't they got a hockey team too?
Yeah, Predators.
Yeah. Like, they got everything.
Doesn't look like LeBron's going to be on the Grizzlies anytime soon, so Grizzly fans out there.
Yeah, they know. Their only chance was in 2003 if they would have won the lottery to get me there. And I might have pulled a Eli Manning and not showed up.
Wow. So he said it's known throughout the league. People don't like Memphis. I've never been there. I don't know what it's like.
Well, now it's publicly known
that
the league doesn't like Memphis.
Yeah, and I'm sure he will be the face of the ire out there. Have you been to Memphis?
Yeah, once or twice. So we used to play them for college I worked for. You'd go a couple times. It's a fine city. I mean, also, if you're LeBron and you're these players, I know you want to go out. You're there to play a game. It's not like you're living there. Play your game, get out of there. I mean, who cares? You're there for a night, right? 2 nights. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't want to go there on a random-ass Thursday night.
I guess so.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going over very well in Memphis. All right, we always like to lighten the mood on a Friday, and we're going to do that with our buddy, comedian Craig Gass is going to join us next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
You can stream every pitch of every inning of every game all season long. Oh, and it's completely free.
It's a tremendous catch.
Only on the Seattle Sports app. That's right. The free Seattle Sports app puts every single Mariners game right in the palm of your hand.
On a platter, come and get it.
One app, every game. Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcast.
Holy smokes, what a play.
Pretty awesome, right? Just like the Mariners.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
Home is more than a place to live. It's where the best of life unfolds, where possibility sparks, where community grows, where lives take shape. At the Master Builders Association of King and Snohomish Counties, that belief drives the work our builders, remodelers, and tradespeople do every day. Because when we build more homes, we're building so much more than housing. We're making room for what matters most. Learn more at roomforwhatmatters.com.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Robert. Robert, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I heard an ad, and my wife and I had just got our policy renewals from our previous provider, and everything had gone up quite a bit, 30-40%, so I thought I'd give it a try. It was a pleasant experience, very easy. It only took a couple of days to get the good news back.
And were they able to save you money?
Yeah, we were able to save well over $1,000. Not only did we save money, our agent found that we had some gaps in coverage, and they were able to not only save money, but improve our coverage.
Well, now you can be a good friend, and you can tell everybody about it.
Well, I have. I've, in fact, passed it on to a couple of my good friends, and they're taking the challenge as well. So it's been great.
Robert did it. My family did it. Now you got to do it, and it's totally free. Go take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you can be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. Firstmarkinsurance.com.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
By texting 64000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from IQ Bar. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at eatiqbar.com/policy/terms of service.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ Bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Now you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping when you text radio to 64,000. Text radio to 64,000 to get your 20% off. That's radio to 64,000.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait, and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Take a look at your baseball scoreboard. Dodgers hammer the Nationals 13-6. You had home runs from Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts, Kyle Tucker, Freddie Freeman. They were just going nuts in that game. 13-6 the final. Tigers shut out the Cardinals 4-0. It was the Yankees over the Marlins 8-2. Padres fall to the Red Sox 5-2. White Sox get it done for their second win of the season. They beat the Blue Jays 5-4. The Reds take out the Rangers 5-3. Guardians over the Cubs 4-1. Phillies hammer the Rockies 10-1, and the Orioles fall to the Pirates 5-4. Royals and Brewers were postponed. Meanwhile, it's going to be the Mariners back in business tonight in Anaheim, taking on the Angels. Brian Wu facing off against that Angels team. You can catch all of the action starting at 6 o'clock with the pregame show right here, Seattle Sports on 710.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
So we got a big weekend coming up here. Lots to pay attention to, obviously, with the Mariners getting back to it. Early season baseball taking on the Angels. You got a big event going on out here in Seattle, and our buddy, comedian extraordinaire Craig Gass is a part of it, and he's in studio with us right now. How are you, man?
Doing great, man. It's exciting to be back in here and hanging out with you. It's I realize it's been many years since I've been in the studio pestering you.
Yeah, you were with us at the Super Bowl. We had you, but you're here. You're back in Seattle, a former home of yours, and you're performing at the Moore Theater.
I'm hosting an event at the Moore Theater that's a fundraiser for this organization, Amplify Courage, which is Stand for Courage is the organization, standforcourage.org. And they got Nancy Wilson from Heart doing a set with an all-star band. Guys from Shinedown, the singer and the guitarist of Shinedown are performing a set. And then an all-star jam with a whole bunch of Seattle musicians from Alice in Chains, Presidents of the United States of America, Aaron Jones. And it's to raise awareness for this program where they take these funds they raise and they make these anti-bullying campaign videos that they put into the schools all around the Pacific Northwest. It's a great idea to get behind. I think it's one that everyone can relate to. This, we've all dealt with bullying. We've all, had to figure out how to manage kids in school who are jerks.
I got to deal with Lefko every day. He bullies me.
Look at this dynamic. I bully Bob all the time.
See, I was what kids. I was a good runner. I could always run away from the action, and I worked on jokes. But it was so it's this cool thing that I'm going to be hosting tomorrow. I'm going to do a little bit of stand up front, and then introduce everybody and get out of the way and let the show speak for itself. And there's going to be some people speaking in between. I know Mike Inez from Alice in Chains is going to give a short speech in between sets, and the tickets are at the Moore Theater. I was shocked that there were still tickets left for this. There's still some seats left, and I realize it's because you cannot search Shinedown or Nancy Wilson or even Amplify Courage. You have to go to the Moore Theater on Ticketmaster and pull the site up because it won't come up under any of those searches. So you have to go to Ticketmaster and search the Moore Theater to get those tickets. I think there's also a direct link at STG Presents. There's a direct link at my website, getgas.com, getgas with 2 S's.com. But there's still some seats left for this incredible lineup with bands that, Nancy Wilson performs in arenas, and Shinedown sells out arenas and stadiums. Alice in Chains guys. Yeah, it's going to be an amazing show, but it's also a chance for me to come in and be silly with you and catch up. Bob is one rare person in my life who genuinely stays in touch with me during the year.
Yeah.
You actually text me. You check in, and we'll check in with each other and just say hello from time to time. And then I always do this annoying thing at the beginning of each season because I'm such a huge Seahawks and Mariners fan where I'll go, what are your thoughts about, and I hate to be that guy. I hate to be that guy. I know that anyone who would recognize Bob in a bar is going to be that annoying guy to go, I've done a lot of stuff with athletes over the years. I've been doing a lot of appearances on Shaquille O'Neal's podcast. And I remember asking him, I'm like, I feel like a lot of empathy for you because comedians, people look at us and go like, oh, wow, what is that like? But I feel like my assumption is when people meet you, Shaquille O'Neal, that they think, I played basketball in junior high. And he says, you're absolutely right. He says people genuinely think they think they can actually relate to what it's like to compete on such a stellar level of athletic performance. They think they actually know and understand because
they're trying to connect.
Because they've played in their backyard before. So I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's I'm excited about a new Mariners season, and I still I have shows coming up in Minneapolis at the end of this month, so I can catch the Mariners at Target Field. I have shows. I'm waiting for the schedule to release so I can know when to perform in Vegas, Denver.
Oh, for the Seahawks.
Oh, you're going to follow them a little bit.
And Los Angeles for this. Yeah, I stalk everybody.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm still a huge Mariners Seahawks fan. It's I said during the Super Bowl, man, the Seahawks have provided me with better memories than my own parents have. I had such great experiences following the Seahawks, man. I'm such a fan. So it's neat for me to be able to check in with Bob and get his professional opinion.
Well, I was going to say, are you that fan to Bob? You were talking about the fans with Shaq. Are you, when you're texting Bob, are you asking those questions?
I genuinely feel self-conscious, but he will give me a very thoughtful and thorough response. And because I remember at the beginning of the last year, the predictions across professional sports, ESPN, all the major national platforms, was that the Seahawks were going to finish 8-9. And I asked Bob, and Bob said, no, they're a better team than that. And we know we have the defense, and if offense steps up, we're going right back into the playoffs. But nobody saw this incredible, like they hit the gas right in that, just past the midway point, and it was like, what the hell's going on? That incredible, was that a Monday night game or a Thursday night game where that crazy overtime with the Rams at home? Was that
Thursday night?
That was a Thursday night, right before Christmas, I remember. And then the rest of the way was like, what? I was more scared about our road to the playoffs, having to have L.A. and San Francisco come to Seattle than I was about
the Super Bowl.
Going to the Super Bowl itself.
Yeah, the Super Bowl was that game against the Rams. That was the Super Bowl.
Yes, 100%, absolutely 100%. But
hey, what kind of reaction do you get around the country? Because you're like, our other buddy, our mutual friend Adam Ray.
Yeah.
You two are similar in that no matter where you're at in the country, you guys are repping the Mariners or Seahawks with a hat, with a shirt, a jacket, whatever it is, no matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're in enemy territory. You could be in San Francisco. Yeah. You could be in Houston, the Astro, whatever. You're repping it. Do you ever get anybody give you a hard time?
People, dude, for decades, I would always wear my Seahawks jersey at the airport on Sunday after the games, no matter how bad that game went. And the reaction, if someone acknowledged that, the reaction, the majority of the time was like, is that like a real thing? Like, is this ironic or do you? And I go, no, I'm a fan. And the next question was always the same. It was, did you see the game? And I went, I did. And but it was a defiant, I don't care what you think. This is my team. I know what happened. I saw the game. I'm wearing this jersey because this is my team and my loyalty was important to me. And then something weird just happened a few days ago. I have this podcast that's already getting a lot of traction with Chris Kale from Five Finger Death Punch. Mm-hmm. Somebody left a comment a few days ago saying, take off that Mariners hat, you poser. And I said, are you talking about the guy who you can do a Google image search of wearing Mariners hat wearing a Mariners hat at media appearances for 25 years around the world? Is that the guy you're talking to? And he hasn't responded yet.
Of course not.
I'm similar to Bob, that I like to get in and slap people around, and like Bob, and sometimes Bob will step in to fight for me. Like he'll be a white knight in my threads and be like, "Hey, you idiots!" and he'll jump in, and like I love that about Bob. Bob is ready to throw down.
I'm looking through the images. Yeah, there's a long history of you and Mariners hats. Plus, the gall of someone to accuse someone of being a bandwagon Mariners fan. Yeah. I guess that's how far they've come. I mean, it's sort of a sense of pride, right? Like, all right, well, look, the Mariners are out in the public consciousness that people think you just hopped onto the bandwagon last year.
Dude, when Russell and Marchand and Sherman and all those great guys, Cam Chancellor and all those guys started showing up for the Seahawks 10 years ago, for the first time ever, walking through airports, people would yell out, "Seahawks suck." And I would pause like, who are they talking? Are you talking to me? And I was like, oh, I suck? Like, and they were always wearing a 49ers thing. Like, it was always a 49ers hat. And for the first time in my life, I was like, oh, I guess we have a rivalry. Is this what a rivalry is? Because as a Seahawks fan for decades, there was no such thing as a rivalry. It wasn't like, I mean, I almost got in fights whenever the Raiders would come to the Kingdom. That was the only time in my life I've ever almost got in a fight, and I got there was 4 Raider games at the Kingdom where I thought, I'm just gonna have to punch this guy. This is not going well.
I've got no choice.
I got no choice. I'm going to have to put down this King beer and punch this guy in the face. And but the rivalries that started with the Seahawks becoming good was odd to me. And then them winning the Super Bowl was odd. I didn't know if I should burn a car or what do I do? Like, it was so odd
I don't know how to celebrate.
Yeah, so for the Mariners to start making that turn right now where somebody accuses me of being a bandwagon guy it's kind of neat. Yeah,
well,
it's cool.
Here's you and I in the locker room 2014 after the Seahawks won the Super Bowl, and look at the hat he's wearing. It's a Mariners hat.
It's a Mariners hat.
Back in 2014.
In the Seahawks. Did you hear the story about how I ended up I got a job that Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, on the field with the Seahawks where they let me, my title was I was the Seattle Seahawks official team photographer's assistant. And what that meant was I carried cameras for the main photographer for the Seahawks, whose name is Corky. And so I'm carrying cameras for Corky that day, and Corky was like, very militant. Everybody told me, like, Corky can be demanding on his assistants. And I thought, who cares? I'm going to be on the field with the Seahawks that day. And sure enough, Corky was like, all right, Craig, no, listen to me. I want you to carry my cameras. And when I say be in the one spot, I want you to be in that spot. When I turn around, I want to make sure you're right behind me. And I said, yes, sir, Corky, let's go. And so I just followed him. He had me get to MetLife Stadium 4 hours before kickoff, which was fine. And we walking up and down the field, going around. He wanted to get all these shots for different things. And I'm just kind of blown away. And then we get closer and closer to kickoff, and celebrities are starting to show up. And Corky, I couldn't believe he said this to me. We're just about at kickoff. Joe Namath has shown up with a big fur coat, and he's going to come out to center to midfield to do the coin toss. And Corky says, "All right, Craig, now listen to me. You see that luxury box up there? I'm going up there right now for the first quarter, and I'm going to shoot the game from up there in the luxury box. You're not coming with me. You're going to stand right here on the field for the entire first quarter. And when I come back down for the second quarter, I expect you to be standing right here." And I looked at him like, are you insane? You're going to leave me alone for the Super Bowl for the entire first quarter? And I was like, yeah, whatever, dude. Yeah. And he's like, okay. So he left, and I was completely autonomous, just enjoying the first quarter, of which the first play was a snap over Peyton Manning's head. Ball rolled right in front of me, and that was the first score of the game for the Seahawks, and it happened right in front of me, and I couldn't believe it. I was in complete ecstasy being able to be on the field and experience that moment. But to my shock and surprise, at the end of the game, I lost Corky in the mix when the Seahawks were celebrating, and Corky said, "Get in the locker room. I need the cameras." And I didn't even know that my credentials allowed me in the locker room, so I raced towards that corner of the stadium. And I walked up, and it's not just security, it's New York police. There was the police officers in front, and they stopped me. Then they looked at my credentials, and they said, "Oh." And each guy took a door, and they opened these 2 wide doors and opened the locker room to me. And I just walked in, and Corky's like, "Hey, Craig, get over here. Give me the cameras." And I'm handing him cameras, and they're passing around the Lombardi trophy. And then after offensive line coaches, defensive line coaches, and a couple family people took pictures with the Lombardi. This guy goes, "All right, Craig, your turn." And I go, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, hold the Lombardi." And I started to take the cameras off. And he goes, "Don't put the cameras down. Just hold the Lombardi." And I went, okay. And I got to hold the Lombardi and take a photo. Oh, man, dude. I mean, that's
dream come true.
It really is, man. I mean, it's the team period is a dream come true when you've invested time into what was not a good product and just believed in. I just love this team, and to see him turn around, it's such a magical thing to have that investment pay off. So when I see people who are Jets fans now, or Lions fans to some degree,
Bob's a Lions fan.
I get accused of being a Lions fan.
Why is that? What's your tie?
Because the late great John Clayton would come on with us every week, and the Lions were on Hard Knocks, and we were talking about Dan Campbell and I remember just saying, I love this guy. I can see why players want to run through a wall for him. I mean, he's got this infectious, enthusiasm, and just kind of praising the show and the coaching. And from that point forward, anytime he mentioned the Lions, John Clayton would go, "Well, the Lions, Bob's favorite team, huh? The Detroit Lions," and it just became a thing. He could not mention the Lions to me without throwing in, "Well, yeah, your favorite team." I was like,
I love John Clayton. I tried to say hi to him once. I don't know if it was at the Super Bowl or at Seahawks training camp. I said, "Oh, man, you're John Clayton. I'm Craig Gass. I'm a stand-up comedian." And he was like, "Okay, bye." And he just walked away. He had a skittish energy. And I don't know if that was around me or if that was...
He's very focused. Like, if he's got something to do, he'd be very... okay.
Yeah. I loved his Slayer commercials for ESPN. He was absolutely amazing. But yeah, it's am I cutting somebody else?
No.
Okay.
No, Lefko was just going to ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no. Keep going. I was waiting until the story was done.
Well, I was going to say that we were talking off the air about comedians, stand-up comedy, and about I love that you guys still have an open door policy with comedians. Like, you still have comedians on, right? Like, who've been, like, your favorites that have come in and crushed in the last couple of years?
Well, Adam comes on a regular basis, but Bobby Lee, we had Chris Porter. We had Chris Porter in studio.
I just hung out with Chris Porter in Vegas last week.
Yeah, you and I went to go see him at the Comedy Store.
That's right.
Down in L.A.
Yeah.
Porter. Who else? Greg Warren had him come in when he came through town.
Great comedian.
He's such a good dude too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Anybody come in that just didn't connect for one reason or another? It just
not on this show. I've had him in other. When I was in St. Louis, I had Rob Schneider on, and he wasn't very funny.
Was he in a bad mood?
He actually wasn't very friendly, to be honest. If I'm being honest, we talked to him before we went on the air, and he was a little abrupt. I'll say in a kind way, and then on the air, I think he still had a bit of an issue.
I think I told you that I went to go see Schneider. Well, it wasn't Schneider. It was Sandler. Nick Swartzen was opening for Sandler, Spade, Schneider at an arena in Connecticut, and a buddy of mine from the band Hatebreed, the singer of Hatebreed. Why am I forgetting?
Is that Jamie Josta?
Jamie Josta. Jamie Josta lives in Connecticut, and I say, hey, do you want to go hang out with Sandler and Spin? He's like, yeah, let's go. So we go, and thank God, because he becomes a witness to Schneider having a full-blown meltdown on me because Swartzen gets us in. At some point, I'm hanging out with Swartzen, and Spade opens the door. He comes in. He's like, oh, hey, Craig. And then, we're all talking, and then Schneider walks in, and I'm like, well, this is kind of cool. We should, as Schneider says, hey, I'm going to leave. I was like, hey, guys, do you mind if we take a quick picture? Sure. Schneider starts to turn around. And to be fair, I did kind of elaborate a little too much on what I was pitching for this idea, which is I love to do a new band photo, which is instead of all of us arms around each other, smiling at the camera, can we do a new band photo where we all look in different directions like we're in a brand new band?
Yeah.
You can see them on my Instagram and on my Facebook.
We did that, you, me, and Corey Taylor on their bus.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I go, hey, would it be okay if we do something funny where we all turn? And Schneider goes, no, God, enough with why is nobody happy just taking a photo? Just take a photo. You want a picture of me? Take a picture with me. Why does it have to be fun? And I went, I don't know. And then he gets up. All right, come on. You ready? 3, 2. All right. God, I am tired of people who don't want to just take a photo. Oh, we got to make it fun. We got to make it funny. And I go, I'm sorry. And he starts to walk out the door, closes the door. And I go, man. Then the door opens and he goes, and you're a comedian. You should know better. Slam. And I went, sorry.
Wow.
And then I remember Jamie Josta going, man, he is testy. And I go, yeah. And then I had to tell, I texted a friend of mine who opens for Rob Schneider around the country. And I only got one text off, which was the beginning of this conversation, which was, dude, I just met Schneider tonight. And before I elaborated, he said, I am so sorry. Because I've had one other moment where I was at the Grammys, and a friend of mine who actually was from St. Louis at the time, Woody, he's now doing mornings in L.A. Woody was at The Point in St. Louis. Woody was broadcasting from the Grammys. They have a radio row just like the Super Bowl. And he said, do you mind sitting in with me and pretending to be different celebrities in Los Angeles? And on this particular day, Rob Schneider comes over to join us for the broadcast. And Woody goes, hey, we're live from Grammys with my co-host, Rainey, and we're also being joined by Tracy Morgan. And I go, hey, what's up, white people? And Schneider looks over at me and goes, oh, he gives me a nod and like a thumbs up to the Tracy Morgan. And then we go on with the conversation. And the conversation within 2 minutes upsets Rob Schneider so much that he starts going, no, dude, no. You have the story wrong, dude. But you have the story. And he starts saying, F you, takes off his headset.
You guys are on the air?
We're on the air. Oh, throws the headset down and goes, no, F you, points at the co-host, F you, looks at me and goes, that's a good Tracy Morgan. And he walks away. And all my friends go, dude, Rob is such a jerk. And I went, I don't know. I thought he was okay.
I liked him. He's nice to me.
In the middle of this rage fest, he looks at me and goes, that's a good Tracy Morgan. And he walks away. And I was like, thank you, Rob. But yeah.
Should try to get a picture with him.
Yeah. I should have in that moment. Yeah. It was years later where I upset him for asking to be funny in a photo. But I don't know. There's something about people who are angry. I get a kick out of him.
Yeah,
you know.
I don't know what he's so angry about, but
I don't know either. But yeah. But dude, I don't
all
wanna...
the other comedians we've had are always very cool. And you know all of them.
Yes.
I mean, Bobby Lee is hilarious. And
Bobby Lee's out of his mind.
He is.
He is
legitimately.
Has he ever taken his clothes off in the studio?
No, but he's the only comedian that's made me nervous. Like I'm just looking at the dump button, just like kind of sitting here and just. He seems more of a wild card than anybody else. We've had Jim Norton in here and others, and he's the one that I was like, I really don't know that he's going to adhere to the rules.
I admire that you do that in a sports format because I feel like your audience is very open to it. Sports radio, to me, has evolved over the years around the country into a hang where it's not necessarily just stats and numbers and stuff, but it's just guys hanging out, having some laughs and with a sports focus. And I love that there's been times when you've hit me up and said, hey, do you know this guy? I want to reach out to him, get him on my show. And comedy has just become so huge over the last 10, 15 years. It's exciting.
Yeah, Craig says he's hitting me up for sports stuff. I'm always bugging him about comedy, comics. And what about this guy? What do you think of this guy?
But I love it. I love that you want to bring those guys on. And I love that when friends of mine are coming to Seattle, I can say, hey, when you get to Seattle, you should get in touch with my buddy Bob and do his show. And then I love having conversations with radio people about, like, who's the best comedian you've ever, like, who are the comics that really connect with your audience and who are the comics that don't. And you'll always hear the same names in both categories.
Really?
You always
what are
hear
the most common?
For the ones that really connect with the audience?
Yeah.
You always hear that Brian Regan is not only really great on the radio. Brian, and this scares me, he brings a notebook with him, and he writes down every city that he goes to and writes down all the topics that he covered on each station.
Oh, wow.
So that if he comes back 2, 3, 4 years later, he doesn't repeat that material, which is frightening to me. Nice, because I've repeated the same material here for years, and I don't realize I'm like halfway through a story, and I see Bob kind of going, yeah, I remember. And I'm like, oh, man, damn it. Did I tell this story already?
Now, who are the comedians that don't connect?
Well, I don't know if it's not connecting, but you always hear some crazy story about, like, Tracy Morgan assaulted somebody in our lobby. It's always like, or you'll hear like Pauly Shore was very disrespectful, but there's always some crazy Tracy Morgan stories about him, like, I'm gonna get that girl pregnant, and it's like, that is our intern, and she's, this is
HR's listening. That's not going to work out well.
So,
hey, get one more plug for what you got coming up this weekend.
I am at the Moore Theater tomorrow night, and I'm hosting an incredible show with Nancy Wilson from Heart. A couple guys from Shinedown are going to do a set. The singer and guitar player of Shinedown, and an all-star jam that's going to feature members of Alice in Chains, Presidents of the United States of America. A bunch of great Seattle musicians are going to be there as well. And it's all happening at the Moore. It's Amplify Courage tomorrow night at the Moore Theater. The tickets, the direct link is at my website, getgas.com, getgas.com with 2 S's. I'm surprised there's still some seats left, but there are still some seats left in the back of the floor and in the balcony. And I am usually funny, and I will be hosting the show tomorrow night, and excited to be here to see you, Bob, because it does mean a lot to me that you stay in touch and that you always check in to say, hey, man, how you been? And we try to connect in Vegas or, wherever. And then I definitely want to come back for training camp this year, and I'll see you there as well. So
absolutely. So getgas.com, or they can go to STG Presents.
Yes.
Or just Moore Theater.
Yeah. And if you want to just donate to the cause, standforcourage.org, you can just donate. And what they do is they raise money for these anti-bullying campaigns, and they take that money, they make videos to educate kids, and they distribute it throughout schools in the Pacific Northwest. Standforcourage.org. Great organization, something we can all relate to. So we'll see you tomorrow night at the Moore Theater, and thank you again for having me on.
Yeah, check it out. Get involved. Get the tickets again at getgas.com, STG Presents, or you can get them at the Moore Theater. Just look it up, and an all-star cast out there. Craig Gass hosting the entire thing, along with Nancy Wilson and members of Alice in Chains. Shinedown, going to be a great event tomorrow night. Craig, we love you, man.
And I want to point out, that was a microphone. I did not fart. That sound right there?
Thanks.
I've been eating Molly Moons every day since I've been here. but that is a microphone sound.
I'm glad you're sitting next to Mike over there. That's good. All right, coming up, this stretch for the Mariners already looks like it's got potential to be a defining part of the season. We're going to get into that next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
ESPN senior MLB insider Jeff Passan every Tuesday morning at 8:30 with Brock and Salk.
Brought to you by your Western Washington Toyota dealers.
Colt Emerson, 8-year extension.
Free agent years are incredibly valuable. If you can get those at a discount, when you have Julio Rodriguez and Cal Raleigh and Colt Emerson locked up for the better part of half a decade, you're in a really good spot.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising. After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
Your windows and doors play a huge role in your home's efficiency and comfort. Choose Lake Washington Windows and Doors for windows that are up to 25% more energy efficient than Energy Star standards and reduce noise by up to 50%. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. You bought an RV, and you got an automatic discount from Progressive by bundling it with your home or auto insurance. That's great, but a serious word of warning every RVer should heed. You don't need to talk about things like dry weight or dump stations. And you don't need one of those expensive water filter straws either. Because the most extreme thing most RVers encounter is a campsite without hookups. So just enjoy yourself. And Progressive's automatic discount when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Taxes was waiting on the refund you needed yesterday.
All right, your car repair is going to run about $3,000.
Now Taxes is getting back on the road with TurboTax and Credit Karma, where you can get your refund up to 5 days faster and get personalized guidance to take every dollar further. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Deposit a federal refund into Credit Karma Money account and early submission of refund data by IRS required. Terms apply. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Credit Karma is not a bank.
Join the Dugout every Tuesday from 1 to 2 on the Bump and Stacy Show, powered by Top Fitness. Top Fitness is your #1 place for home fitness and exercise equipment, with locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue. Visit topfitness.com.
Mariners and Angels in Anaheim tonight. First pitch at 6:38, 5:30 pregame. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. Great teachers inspire. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, courtesy of WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Teachers are the real MVPs. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
Dave Wyman here with Dr. Robert Moyer from Swedish Hospital.
Dr. Moyer, tell us about the amazing results prostate cancer patients are getting with Swedish CyberKnife.
Well, at the Swedish CyberKnife, our patients are really satisfied with the experience. The treatment is very effective at eradicating the cancer, has minimal side effects, and we are seeing excellent cancer control 10 years later.
Find out more at swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
Hi, Sarah here with Safeway. We're proud to partner with Champions of Change co-founder Doug Baldwin to help nourish Washington students through the Nourishing Champions program.
Thanks, Sarah. And here's the reality. Every day, students across our state are staying after school for extracurriculars on empty stomachs, and some of them don't know where their next meal will come from. Food insecurity is reaching crisis levels, and the impact on our youth will extend far beyond this moment. The good news is that there's an answer in the federally funded after-school meals programs. But right now, Washington schools' participation is very low, reaching only 2% of the students who qualify.
That's where Nourishing Champions comes in. We're offering grants that not only fund food, but also resource and training support for the schools to offer an after-school meal program for years to come.
Our goal is to reach 10,000 more students in the first year of these grants and then grow from there. School staff can learn more and apply today at championsofchangefoundation.org and navigating to the Nourishing Champions tab. That's championsofchangefoundation.org and click on the Nourishing Champions tab.
Wyman and Bob from the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks once again to comedian Craig Gass, who joined us in the previous segment. In case you guys just tuned in and missed that, you can find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, Mariners off to a slow start, exactly the same slow start they were last year. After 7 games last year, they were 3-4. And then it got worse because they got swept by the Giants, and they were 3-7. And I don't imagine we were feeling good, having a lot of positive conversations.
And Victor Robles had gotten hurt, and
That's
it was
right.
It was all bleak.
Yeah, it was
much worse than this.
It was feeling bad. But, you know, I'm looking at this division, and it's so weird to have these conversations after 7 games, but that's all that's been played, so that's all we've got. But I feel like going into the season, we were looking at the division going, what's the Mariners won the division last year. It's their division to lose. And the Astros are getting older. They're not the same team. It's you know, you're more worried about the Rangers and what they did in the offseason, and the A's have a lot of young talent. As we sit today, again, keeping in mind 7 games, the Astros are in first place at 5-2, and the A's are in last at 1-5. So I don't know that that's how it's going to end. I don't know that the Astros tail off, but this is a huge stretch for the Mariners just as a litmus test, because you've got your next 10 games are against the AL West. You got 3 against the Angels starting tonight. You got 3 against the Rangers. Then you got 4 at home against the most hated team in sports, the Houston Astros. So this is a big deal in the sense that we get a head-to-head measurement, if you will.
Yeah, and then you got, going further than that, too, after that Padres series, you have 6 more against the division. So 3 more against the Rangers, and then the A's that people still think are going to be the surprise team because of that offense. They've gotten off to a very slow start, 1-5 on the season. So I'm kind of looking at this Rangers team and the matchup that the Mariners are going to have with them. 6 games coming up in the next 3 weeks. That I think will say a lot because, yeah, the Astros are 5-2, and we know they're the fun team to kind of beat. You'd rather be beating down the Astros.
Yes.
Last year was so much more fun because they went into Houston, won that final series against them to win the division.
It was delightful.
That was much more, appealing than if they had done that to the Angels or the A's. I mean, it would have been great regardless, but to beat the Astros head on is good. So you always think of them as the team that's just kind of linger and will be that villain until they finally, are buried in the ground. Everyone from that 2017 team has retired and left baseball. But I think the Rangers are a more complete team, and their pitching is really good early on. So I don't look at that Astros start yet and say, all right, 5-2, that is worrisome. The 4 games are going to be huge to just kind of, again, assert that, hey, we're the kings of the division now when the Astros come to town here coming up, next weekend. So to win those 4 would be good. So in terms of which games are most important, I think for the sake of just establishing who's the top dog in the division, the Astros, but beating the Astros, but over the long-term course of the season, the Rangers feel like the more dangerous team.
They do. They do on the sur, and I still think the A's could be a problem. I don't think the A's are going to be a playoff team this year, but I just think they can be. Those aren't games I look at as easy wins when you face the A's, the way you kind of have in years past. And I know they're off to a 1-5 start, but I just think there's so much young talent. It's their rotation, which I think will hold them back. But yeah, this is going to be fun. I love the head-to-head matchup, obviously, to get a gauge, get a sense of how they match up, and then obviously the Houston Astros coming to town. There's nothing more delightful than that, than hearing that entire park at T-Mobile Park. Just let them hear it. Just let them wear it, and don't let it end. But meanwhile, we've talked about some of the slow starts with the marquee names in this lineup. Adnan Virk of MLB Network was talking about that, and he was talking about Cal Raleigh specifically, saying he's not worried about the slow start, but he does believe the AL West is a bit tougher looking than they originally expected.
And that's credit to Raleigh. At least he's so conscientious, wants to make sure his pitchers are taken care of. I will point out, only had 1 home run his first 9 games last year, still ended up with 60. However, here's why I would be a little bit concerned about Seattle is this. That division, Ryan, we thought for years, now it's a Seattle change. No, the Astros are not going anywhere. And the Rangers, if they can hit, their pitching is elite. And the Angels have been a little bit better than we thought so far. So that's a tougher division than people realize.
Wait, did you say Cal had 1 home run through his first 9? Because we had a texter who I was certain was not wrong, who said he had 4 at this time last year.
Yeah.
There's no way the texter
I would
was
trust
wrong.
the stats and someone who works on MLB Network. But yeah, like the Astros, I don't know. I don't echo that same confidence. I think they have a lot more holes and a lot older roster that we don't know how they'll hold up. They look very bad at the end of last year. They fell off the cliff there at the end of the year, especially when the Mariners swept them. You could see the age in that lineup. So to me, yeah, I think the A's are the more curious team of that bunch because of everything we've talked about. They're young, and they have the lineup that can be so dynamic. We haven't seen it yet, but hey, if you're going to root for a team, they play the Astros this weekend, Bob. There you go. Big A's fans this weekend here in Seattle. Yeah.
Sacramento.
Well, I was like, wait, Sacramento? Who are you talking about? Oh yeah, the A's. It's still weird.
Yeah,
it's still
very
weird.
weird.
Sacramento.
All right. Meanwhile, there's uncertainty with a handful of quarterback situations around the NFL. We're going to hear about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
The Mariners have signed their best prospect, Colt Emerson, young shortstop, just 20 years old, yet to play a game in the big leagues. 8 years, $95 million guaranteed. There are some wins in here for the player, and I think a lot of wins in here for the team as well.
It's a win for the player to make generational money, and it's a win for the organization that if he becomes half the player that you believe he can become, that deal is going to be very favorable to your budget.
On Seattle Sports.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from IQ Bar. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at eatiqbar.com/policy/terms of service.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and 0 weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Now you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping when you text radio to 64,000. Text radio to 64,000 to get your 20% off. That's radio to 64,000.
Home is more than a place to live. It's where the best of life unfolds, where possibility sparks, where community grows, where lives take shape. At the Master Builders Association of King and Snohomish Counties, that belief drives the work our builders, remodelers, and tradespeople do every day. Because when we build more homes, we're building so much more than housing. We're making room for what matters most. Learn more at roomforwhatmatters.com.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Harry Douglas here. Let me ask you something.
What if you can enjoy the taste of a cocktail, the warmth of a spirit, and still stay fully in control? That's RK Zero Proof, a pioneer in the alcohol-free spirits category. RK delivers bold flavor and a real warming sensation with zero alcohol, zero sugar, zero carbs, and zero calories. Perfect for nights out, social gatherings, or anytime you want the experience of a drink without sacrificing tomorrow. Check it out at rkbeverages.com. That's ARKAY beverages.com. RK, all the flavor, none of the alcohol.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This April, the Pacific Northwest is All Elite. Experience the action and excitement of All Elite Wrestling live on Wednesday, April 15th. 2 huge shows, one incredible night. AEW presents Dynamite and Collision. As the dust settles after AEW Dynasty, the best wrestlers on the planet return to Everett for the first time in almost 2 years. AEW Dynamite and Collision live from Angel of the Winds Arena. Wednesday, April 15th. Tickets on sale now starting at just $20 at AEWTIX.com.
Compassion, communication, results. That's Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to PendergastLaw.com. That's PendergastLaw.com.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Meet Morgan Jones. Morgan is about to step into a world unknown to most, thanks to Progressive's Renters Insurance, a place of fresh linens and turn-down service. You see, Morgan temporarily vacated her apartment and has gone to a hotel because a pipe burst in her apartment. A pipe that made her sense of reality and apartment ceiling all come crashing down. Luckily, Morgan checked into Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
Not sure how to tackle your taxes? Are you sweating the small print? You may be experiencing FOMO, the fear of messing up. The answer? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it, with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. It's time to take your taxes to the max. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Well, there were a lot of NFL conversations happening over this past week at the league meetings. One of those was Adam Schefter on with Pat McAfee talking about this Puka Nacua situation. We did hear from Les Snead and some comments that were passed along from Sean McVay. But yeah, it sounds like with this key part of their team, they want to sign him to a long-term deal, but the Rams just waiting to see what happens this offseason with Puka.
He's trying to get the help that he believes he now needs, and obviously there are huge implications for the football element of this that the Rams are aware of, but they said it's most important right now for Puka to get the help that he needs as a person, and all the football stuff, the contract, that all can wait until after he's out. Yeah. We saw Jackson Smith-Njigba already become the highest paid wide receiver in football. Puka Nacua is that level of talent, and everybody believes that Puka is going to get paid, but the Rams obviously want him to get the help and treatment he needs first before they move on to the contractual element of this. And when teams are doing contracts, they look at the entire picture. They need that person to be a leader on and off the field. They need him to be an example, and you're going to make him one of the highest paid players in the league.
Yeah, they've got to make sure that he's right. You're going to commit that kind of money, and maybe they write some things into the contract they otherwise wouldn't if he were a different character. If he were JSN,
yeah.
I mean, you sign him with no concerns about who he is as a person and how is he going to respond to this kind of money and this kind of attention, and what about the people around him? You don't have any concerns with JSN. Puka, he's a brilliant player. There's no debating that. He is a phenomenal wide receiver. But with those questions, if I'm the GM, if I'm the owner, I'm like, all right, let's write in some things into this contract that negate any guarantees should he fall off the wagon and get in trouble or he's in the headlines for the wrong reasons again.
Yeah, it felt like Puka would get a very similar deal to JSN just because of the level of production. Now it seems like the Rams have a great reason to go in and say, hey, this gives us leverage. We're going to pay you significantly less. And maybe significantly less is still like 36 or 37 million a year.
Maybe it's less of a guarantee.
And true, less of a guarantee. There's so many things you can do with a contract. So he's going to cost himself some money one way or another because maybe less guaranteed, less years, less average annual value. But it's a weird position to be in because you're right. You have to pay him if you're the Rams. But how do you commit to this guy long term?
Sweeping the dial.
Well, more teams are having issues, not just the Rams, in trying to figure out what's going on with their star wide receiver, but the Ravens, it sounds like. This is according to Dan Graziano, one of ESPN's NFL reporters, on their morning radio show on Sportsmanlike, that they have been desperately trying to get a deal done with Lamar Jackson.
2 years left on his contract. They were very clear early in the offseason they wanted to do an extension. They got to the start of the league year with the extension not done, so they had to restructure his contract to float some of the cap hits out into future years, which they did not want to do. So what that tells you is they were unsuccessful in engaging him in contract extension talks. There's nothing that requires him to engage on that level. He could play out these 2 years and go somewhere else if he wants to. That's out there. Like, it's 2 years left on his contract. They went to him about an extension this offseason. It hasn't happened. And there's been a point on the calendar that has passed where it would have benefited the team greatly for it to have happened by then, and it didn't. He does his own thing.
He's his own agent, right?
Yeah, that's got to be tough. He is his own agent. I mean, I cannot even imagine a contentious negotiation like that where it's a quarterback salary and they get paid absurd sums of money to have to go back and forth with the player themselves.
Well, and he's already missed a date that would have benefited the team.
Yeah.
So
he's coming off an injury. I mean, significantly less productive last year than he was at any point in his career.
You figure he'd like to lock up as much guaranteed money moving forward as he can, because likely this is his last big deal, his last shot at a big fat guarantee. So yeah, that's interesting. I don't know, maybe that's part of the hazard of being your own agent. And this is not going to engender any goodwill if he's already messed up a date that could have benefited the overall franchise.
And I feel like this happens every year with him too, right? Not every year, every contract negotiation. We heard about this a few years ago before they signed this then extension in the 2023 season. He wasn't going to show up and all this drama that you do kind of hear about. But when a player has an agent, it gets smoothed over a little bit. And that's the issue that I know that, Dave Wyman always brings up. He thinks some of the bad feelings that happened with the Seahawks and Bobby Wagner are because you're trying to be objective in the sense of, well, look, this is a business side of it, not how we feel about you, the player.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with directly the person, all they're hearing is, we hate you, this is why you're terrible, we don't want to pay you this. So, yeah, it gets personal, and you can't afford that.
Even if it's not as abrupt as that, they're still making a case as to why we don't think we can pay you or you're worth as much as you are telling us you are. Here's why. You want X amount of dollars. Here's why we can't pay you that much, because you don't do this, you don't do that. I mean, it's the negotiation. That's got to be really hard to be your own agent.
Yeah.
Sweeping the dial.
Tim Hasselbeck was on Get Up yesterday, had a lot of things to weigh in on when it comes to the draft and some of these teams at the top of the draft, including the Raiders, who it's widely expected they're going to draft Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall. We also heard the news they signed Kirk Cousins to what is essentially a 5-year deal, but really just 1 year guaranteed. And Hasselbeck was saying, look, this is the best thing the Raiders could have done, especially this upcoming season, for them and Mendoza.
What Mendoza needs to do is basically be a sponge, soak up everything you possibly can from Kirk Cousins. And the reason I say that is Cousins is a master of this offense. He's been with Clint Kubiak in the past. He's played in a version of the West Coast offense pretty much his entire career. And he's got the battle scars. So there's the football side of it. And then there's a side of it about how to be a pro, how to be a franchise quarterback, which Cousins has been for a long time. How do you treat the people in the building? How do you lead? How do you, what is your relationship like with the offensive line, the receivers? How do you communicate with coaches? All of that stuff. He's going to have a great example in Cousins.
I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. I think Cousins is a perfect guy for that. I think he's a guy who's very well aware of where he's at in his career. So I don't think he looks at Mendoza as a threat so much. I think he understands his role. He's going to get paid really well to sort of bring this kid along. Obviously, he wants to go out there and play well and win, but I just think he's much more accepting of that mentor role than Geno would have been. I just don't see Geno being the right guy for Mendoza or any young quarterback who's brought in to take his job, because I think Geno's very much in the mindset, no, I'm a starter in this league. I can still be an elite, in his mind, an elite player in this league. So I don't know how that would have worked out there. So I agree. I think he's the perfect guy.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago, Joe Flacco, I believe this was the Colts, because he's been on like 18 teams since then. He was like, why? It's not my job to mentor a young guy coming into the league, when they were drafting Anthony Richardson. So someone like that, and Flacco seems like, he's still has a softer side than maybe a Geno Smith, because he has become pretty funny in his old age. But yes, Kirk Cousins, perfect mentor, and it is kind of interesting that everyone, all sides of this, kind of know, all right, Kirk, you're probably just there for 1 year.
Yeah, you're stopgap.
We signed you for a 5-year deal, but we're giving you one guaranteed year, drafting the number 1 overall pick. Hey, come in for 1, you'll do great, and then we'll usher you out the door.
Yeah, I don't think he's under any illusion that he's going to be a starter for a team that's going to be year in, year out. You're the guy.
It's not Russ going to stop after stop thinking he can compete for the role.
Right. All right, there you go. Meanwhile, if you have a way to watch our next segment, which you can, right? SeattleSports.com.
YouTube as well. Yeah. Or our app video link.
We highly recommend you do so. Why is that?
So have you seen in the past that Gary Hill likes to bring out funny pictures when he comes on? Especially at Angels Stadium. He says he has a good one. Not necessarily you, Matt. He says he has one he's waiting to unveil. So everyone tune in for that.
Matt looks excited for this next segment. We'll find out together. Watch it if you can. Gary Hill Jr. is going to join us next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
4 Down Territory. Michael Bumpus answers the top 4 football questions of the day.
Who do you want to see week 1 for the Seahawks?
We think it's going to be the Bears, right? I want to see the Cowboys, though.
The Cowboys?
I want to see the Cowboys because I want all the hype and the smoke that comes with playing the Cowboys week 1. Coming into the season, everyone's going to be excited about the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
This offense is going to be great. Mm-hmm. Defensively, they've gotten better. I want all the hype and all the smoke.
Catch every 4 Down Territory on the Seattle Sports app.
What is it, boy? Someone need help? Someone in trouble? Oh, okay. So you just want me to get Progressive Auto Insurance because their collision coverage covers up to $1,000 in vet bills if you're injured in an accident? That's it? Okay. Calm down. Let's not resort to name calling.
Progressive's collision coverage helps pay for care for your pet when they're in the car during an accident.
No, you're right. Sorry. I shouldn't have said calm down.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage included with purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
Are you stuck staring at your W-2? Are tax refund worries holding you back? You probably have FOMO, the fear of messing up. The fix? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. It's time to overcome your fear of messing up and get your taxes done right. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Smalls here. What if you could enjoy the flavor of a cocktail without the alcohol? Meet RK Zero Proof, a pioneer in the alcohol-free spirits category that delivers bold taste and a warming sensation, but with zero alcohol, zero sugar, zero carbs, and zero calories. So you can celebrate with friends, unwind after a long day, and wake up tomorrow feeling great. It's all the ritual of a drink without the regret. Discover RK at rkbeverages.com. That's ARKAY beverages.com. RK, the spirit without the alcohol.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-791-0000. That's 800-791-0000.
Spring brings brighter days and more time to show off your Kohl styles. School drop-off, a chance for your outfit to shine in the morning rays. The sun filtering through your windows, practically a personal spotlight. And family walks, all perfectly timed for golden hour. Shop Kohl's for 15% off and make the most of more daylight. Your outfits deserve it. Select styles. Offer ends April 4th. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
So, what are you reading?
I'm checking out the ratings on the new TVs, and it looks like Samsung, LG, and Sony got the best scores.
Just like last year. What about those new high dynamic range TVs?
They got the highest scores of all, but their prices are really high.
Did you check online?
Yeah, their prices were about the same.
Well, there's one place where we can get a hot deal on those top-rated models.
Where?
At Video Only. Check out the ratings on TV stores.
I see. Video Only scored better than the others.
So, if you want the best deal on the best TVs,
then we should take our TV ratings and head over to top-rated Video Only.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
How does your roof look after this winter? Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Spring into action today. Save $3,000 on a new roof, siding, deck, or windows. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Join the Dugout every Tuesday from 1 to 2 on the Bump and Stacy Show, powered by Top Fitness. Top Fitness is your #1 place for home fitness and exercise equipment, with locations in Tukwila, Linwood, and Bellevue. Visit topfitness.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners begin their first road trip of the season tonight in Anaheim. Brian Wu on the mound for the M's. It's lefty Reed Detmers for the Angels. Pregame coverage begins right here at 6 o'clock. It is a listed 6:38 first pitch for the Angels. It's going to be later because of their opening day ceremony. So pregame coverage right here on Seattle Sports at 6 o'clock. Meanwhile, the top prospect in baseball, 19-year-old shortstop Connor Griffin, made his MLB debut today for the Pirates, had an RBI double in his first at-bat. And the Seahawks announced their offseason schedule. First OTA is May 26th. Mandatory minicamp begins June 9th and runs through the 11th.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Well, the Mariners get back to business tonight in Anaheim, taking on the Angels for a 3-game series. And joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline, a man who will be down there in the thick of it on the call. Our buddy Gary Hill Jr. is with us. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Good. We're all anxiously looking at your background to see what.
Oh,
I can't see anything though.
Waiting to take you full screen. Okay.
Oh, there we go. Full screen. What is that?
do you want me to? Hey, I can bring it closer.
Oh wait, is this?
It's a great picture of Dave Wyman.
Is it Tecmo Bowl?
It's from Tecmo Bowl.
Look at that.
See, he's at the bottom, and he's on the ground, and that's Thurman Thomas running for a touchdown.
Oh, that is delightful. Look at that. That is
Look, there
great.
he is down there. Just, I don't know what he's doing, but he's on the ground down there.
He's on the
That's
ground,
Dave Wyman.
not making a tackle.
He's really far away from the play, not doing anything.
And there's proof of that. It says his name. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, see, it says his name right
It says
at the top.
Wyman.
Yeah,
That's
Wyman.
great. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Matt's feeling good. I think he feels relieved it wasn't a picture of him
I
back
know.
there.
Yeah, no, it's good. We give him a break. Next one will be him, though. Don't worry. Yeah.
Do you have a collection of Matt pictures to work with?
I do. It's actually remarkable. People at the station now are sending me pictures of everyone else, which is great. So I have this entire library of pretty embarrassing photos from everyone that I'm pretty excited to go through as we move through the course of this baseball season. This is great.
I would say
it's
that's
become a very fun thing.
Yeah, that's why we have him on, I think.
Yeah.
That's maybe the only reason. Especially from Angel Stadium. That was the site of your first Matt Nelson pick that went over so well. That
The original.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Matt, are you disappointed that he diverted the attention to Wyman this time?
I think it's about time other people take the bullet instead of me, frankly.
Love it. Good stuff.
Notice I did this while Wyman's not here today.
That's
so
right.
I'm
That's
very
right.
strategic about that. Yeah.
Well, the weather looks lovely where you're at. Looks warm.
It's not bad. Yeah.
So
Little sun. So it's pretty windy today, but it's not bad.
Well,
we'll play baseball today. Don't worry.
Where's your level of concern, if any, Gary, with the way the middle of the order has hit, or more importantly, not hit to this point? The team sitting here at 3-4, which coincidentally is where they were at after 7 games last year. They were 3-4, and then they got swept by the Giants, so they were 3-7. We weren't feeling good then, but there's more focus, there's more expectation this year, so I think this hits a little differently, and especially when it's Cal and Julio and Naylor all looking like they're still trying to find it. Where are you at with that?
Yeah, I don't get concerned about performance. The things I would get concerned about are like, is somebody throwing 4 miles per hour less than a year ago? You know, something like that, something physical where you see it's like, okay, there may be something there. In terms of just performance, I'm not concerned. We're a week in. I also think that the Yankees pitched really well. I think their rotation is excellent. And you kind of look at how the Mariners and Yankees match up. You can easily see that those two teams could be standing at the top in the American League when it's all said and done. Because you look at the Yankees rotation especially, you look at the Mariners rotation, the pop in both the lineups, like these two teams look built for the long haul. So, and Cleveland, they can pitch as well. So it's not a surprise to me that the Mariners offensively aren't hitting on all cylinders. Now we'll see what happens in this 3-game series. The Angels, they don't have the arms that the Yankees have. So this should be an opportunity for the Mariners to put up some runs and for the middle of the order to start picking it up.
Well, yeah, Gary, getting into that, what else stands out about this Angels team? It looks like kind of a resurgent Mike Trout, which is good for baseball as a whole, but maybe bad for the Mariners. What's there to be wary about when it comes to this Angels team?
Yeah, he's really turned back the hands of time to start this season. He has looked vintage Trout so far this year. In fact, you kind of go back to the Astros series, and the Angels scored a ton of runs. They hit the ball. I mean, they're a team that last year they were one of the top home run hitting teams in baseball. So there's always that kind of danger with a team like that they can pop a 3-run home run and change the course of a ball game. For them, the question continues to be, and I think the question still this year is, where is their pitching going to come from? What is the rotation going to look like? Back of the bullpen, that sort of things. They have a couple of pros at the back end of the bullpen. I think they're pretty soft in the middle part if you can get to that bullpen. And, Detmers is starting today. He had an excellent year last year out of the bullpen, so I don't know what this start is going to look like for him, but they have questions up and down the rotation. Kahanowicz is getting the start tomorrow, and he's someone that really struggled last year, so that matchup looks pretty good. But the questions, and it's interesting when you look at the Angels compared to the Mariners, too. I think sometimes we can take for granted when you look at the pitching-rich Mariners and the arms that they've produced through the entire system, homegrown, Gilbert, Kirby, go down the list, and the Angels they can't do it. They have not been able to do it for so long, producing their own pitchers in particular. And that's going to continue to be the question for them until they can answer it.
So what we've been talking about, Colt Emerson kind of looming in the background there, and J.P. Crawford is going to the lineup tonight for the first time. He's a guy that he didn't really have spring. He was out there for a bit. It was kind of start, stop, and so I don't know what a realistic expectation is for JP moving forward. I think it could take him a bit to find his rhythm. I'm very curious to see his first throw. First time he's got to put some steam on the ball, maybe a dribbler, and he's got to hurry that throw. What does that look like? But what's your expectation? What's a reasonable expectation for JP?
I think that's a fair outlook that you just put out, because you think about he didn't play much in spring at all. So I do feel like it's going to take some time to get his rhythm. And, the defense is a question not only, I think, for JP, but for the entire infield. And we've seen some bright spots. I think Cole Young has played really well at second base. And then, we've seen Donovan, a couple of miscues at third base, and so we'll see what JP looks like at short. I still think that infield defense is a question that we'll continue to watch as this thing goes, but I'm also curious to see what JP looks like playing shortstop, especially with the shoulder. So those are questions we don't have answers yet. I do feel like he is a pro at the plate, and he's someone that takes pitches, takes his walks, so I feel like that will come fairly quickly. And I think it's important when you look at where he's going to bat in the lineup. He's a guy that you're asking for, hey, just get on base, turn the lineup over to the top, Donovan. And then when the middle of the order gets going, and they will, you could see how this offense could be really tough to pitch to, especially if Young and Raley and Canzone, not hitting like this because they're off to such great starts, but being productive. You have a chance to have a 1 through 9, a really productive, long 1 through 9 lineup.
Gary, that Colt Emerson news was the big story of early this week, and now it's already been usurped by Connor Griffin. He's got a bigger contract. All right, Colts, you're no longer the fun story of the week. Congrats on your 15 minutes. No, but, the big contract there, and Jerry DiPoto talking about what his role might be whenever he does come up. How do you see that lineup puzzle kind of playing out for the Mariners?
I think part of it will be circumstance. I always feel like these questions get answered during the course of a season. It's not very often that you look at a team and say, we have too many good players, we don't know what to do. Like, that's a great problem to have. But I always feel like there's going to be an injury along the way. Someone's going to go on the IL, that sort of thing. And I think the beauty with the Mariners is you can move Donovan around. So, hey, maybe Colt comes up at some point and plays third, and Donovan moves to the outfield. There's an injury there. I think there's a lot of different ways this thing can work when the time comes. And that's also the beauty, is they don't have to force the issue. They can wait until Colt is ready to make the jump. There's no pressure to insert him in the lineup right away. And when he comes up, I don't think there's going to be pressure on him to carry the offense, which I also think is a really good thing. I think when he comes up, he'll probably bat towards the bottom of the lineup, and he's a guy that can move around as well. So I think it's really important and really good that the Mariners have some flexibility for when the time does come.
What is your level of concern with Donovan at third? Because that was a question mark for me coming into the season. Not a concern, but just, all right, yeah. I don't know what to expect. We know he's a Gold Glover, as a utility guy. He can play good defense, but it's just not at third base that he's spent a lot of time. So, 3 errors in 7 games, 2 of them throws. It's a different angle. It's just a different spot. I mean, to state the obvious, but do you see, he's going to be fine, or do you look at him and go, well, maybe he's not quite as dynamic as you need to be at that position? What's your, I guess, sort of outlook for him moving forward?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's too early to judge at this point. I think he's made some really good plays too. Goes crashing into the wall. That was a really good play. Like he has made some plays along the way. One of the errors was 103 off the bat of Stanton. And I think for me, when I think about somebody playing third base who's primarily played second base or even the outfield, it is the hot corner, right? You're facing a righty like Stanton. He happened to be playing in on that as well. The ball, 103, gets to you fast. So I do think there's going to be some adjustments on plays like that. And as you mentioned, 2 of them have been throws. He was out before the game working on his throws. So he is a grinder. He's a guy that works really hard. I could see him being better than he is right now. But I also think it's too early to judge at this point. I think we're just going to continue to see how it's all going to play out.
Hey, Gary, talking about the rotation, we talked about the Yankees rotation. It's quite good. The Mariners rotation is quite good as well. So I guess I wasn't really surprised by anything we saw from most of these guys except Emerson Hancock, who comes out and just absolutely dominates the 6 no-hit innings. What did you take away from his first start, and what reasons you have to think that this could be a version of what we see of Emerson Hancock this year?
It was incredible. You couldn't ask for anything more in that start. We watched him in spring, and he had an excellent spring. Now it's spring. So what does that mean? What does that translate to in the regular season? And that's what I was really anxious to see, because there's a couple things to me, probably 3 things about Hancock that really stood out to me in spring. One was a sweeper. That looked like a difference maker for him, a different wrinkle that hitters will have to account for. He only walked 1 guy in the course of the entire spring training, and talking to him, that's the thing that he was happiest with the most. And the other thing was he held his velocity in spring, and we saw an uptick. Now, he didn't hold it in the game against Cleveland. As it turned out, it didn't matter. Like, he was living top rail, and whether it was 94 or 93 or 91, he was getting swings and misses on it, especially from lefties, which is not a small thing. I think that's really important. And with the movement of the sweeper, getting swings and misses there. Because to me, that's what really stood out. There's never been a lot of swing and miss in Hancock's game. There was a ton against Cleveland. I mean, career high in strikeouts with 9 in just 6 innings. So is he going to throw no-hit innings every time he comes out? Probably not. But it does give you a lot of hope on what he can be moving forward, because he's a guy at the back end of the rotation. I always feel like for a guy at the back end, you're not asking for him to blank teams for 6 innings. You're asking for him to keep you in a game. 5 innings, 3 runs, a couple of runs, but just keep the Mariners in the game and let the offense score some runs and win the game. Because you look at the offense on balance, and I know they're not off to a hot start, but I think as this season goes, this will be a team that scores runs, and you won't be requiring Hancock and the other guys to throw shutouts to get wins.
Hey, what is your takeaway from what we've seen from Logan Gilbert so far? And we saw that first turn through the rotation. I thought he was decent. I thought he was solid. I didn't think he was great. 5 1/3, gave up 3 runs. The rest of the rotation, as you just touched on, Emerson Hancock and Brian Wu and Kurt, they were great. Luis Castillo. And then his next turn, he goes 5 1/3, gives up 5 runs. He's been less than dominant. I'll say that in his first 2 starts. What have you seen? Anything of concern? Velocity, anything like that? Or what? It just seems like he's got a harder time being efficient. Last year that was the case. A lot of foul balls off him. Driving up that pitch count. We've seen that in these first 2 games.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think efficiency is the word that you would use with Logan Gilbert, and you're just hoping for more, because the interesting part about last year, like, his pure stuff and the swing and miss has never been better. The strikeout rate was nearly the best in Mariners history for any starter, behind just a couple of Randy Johnson seasons. So when you're living there in terms of strikeouts, you're in a great place. And we've seen the splitter, like, as an individual pitch, garners some of the most swing and miss that we saw in baseball last year. So all of that is great. He's got the domination, he's got the strikeout rate, but efficiency has been the issue at times, because we haven't seen him go deep into ball games. And so, I think about his first start, and I know there's one pitch in particular. He left a cutter over the plate that cost him 2 runs that I'm sure he would love to take back. But I think that is what you're looking for when you think about his season moving forward. Can he get outs earlier in counts? Can he put guys away quicker? Because, there's a ton of foul balls, guys staying in counts, deep counts, 3-2, that sort of thing. They would be really great if Logan could stay away from those moving forward and give the Mariners 6, 7 innings at a time, because we've seen him be that guy. He just hasn't been. There were times he wasn't that guy last year, and so far he hasn't been that guy. But certainly it's in there, and he's more than capable, and hopefully it starts showing up for the Mariners soon.
Gary, what do you think about how ABS strategy has evolved for the Mariners over these first 7 games?
I still think they're feeling their way through it. It's this balance, right, of you want one, at least one, for the end of a game if the situation is big. If there's the 8th inning and bases loaded, you really need to have one in that circumstance. And I think we've seen the Mariners go from not aggressive at all, especially to start the season, to not getting super aggressive in a couple of games and even coming close to losing it in like the first inning. So I still feel like it's a work in progress. And I don't think the Mariners are alone in this. I think this is a work in progress for a lot of teams. We saw the Yankees be super aggressive with it. Part of it was that they kept being right. So you can be aggressive.
That helps.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't be aggressive when you're wrong right away and you only have one left. So for me, that's the trick is you want to find this balance where you don't want to get to the end of the game and still have 2 left, because you end up saying, well, what are we doing? We didn't give ourselves a couple of opportunities during the game. But you don't want to burn them before the 4th with like nobody aboard on a 2-0 count or something like that. So I think the strategy is kind of challenging to find that right balance. So I still think they're working through it, and I think most teams are still working through it.
Hey, getting back to the 3 in the middle of the lineup, Cal, Julio, and Naylor, do you get a sense that they're close? Because I see, like, we've seen Julio square the ball up a couple times, hit it at people. Cal obviously had the walk-off winner, drove in a couple runs the other night, so maybe he's getting closer. Naylor feels like he's a little out front, like he's not making that solid contact. They're kind of, lightly hit dribblers to the infielders. I don't know what you're seeing from those 3, but does one feel closer than the other 2 in your mind?
I think that's right. I think Naylor's had a disadvantage too. They've run into a couple tough lefties, and I don't think that's helped his situation, like getting out of a tough stretch, facing another lefty today. So that, I don't know how much that will help as well. But I think that has helped lead to what we've seen from Naylor. I think you're right. There's been some signs of optimism for both Cal and Julio. I think they've had a couple of moments recently where they've squared things up. Now, I think what's exciting when you look at this series, both Cal and Julio torched the Angels last year. Both of them went pretty wild against them. And so when I kind of look at, it's going to be warm in this series, in this ballpark, you look at some of the pitching matchups, this is a series that I look at, and Cal and Julio can get things moving in the right direction. I think the opportunity is certainly here for that. And you're right, there's been signs, but I think this 3-game series is something where I think we'll see some homers, some extra base hits, that sort of thing. I think we'll see some thunder.
Well, and Gary, how much does going on the road potentially help? You hear about all the distractions and all the things that happen at the start of a season and then at home where everyone's family's in town. Josh Naylor had to go through the celebration, or he ran out onto the magenta carpet for the first time, and that was probably a lot, everything going on. He was a new dad this offseason. So is there a sense of, look, this team can get away from all that and maybe just kind of get to know each other for the first time this year, away from all the fun that happens at home, but now just focus on baseball?
I think the first week is hard for everyone because there's so much happening, and the transition to from spring to the regular season happens fast, and all of a sudden you're in it, and all these things are happening. What I think is great about this, it finally feels normal for the first time. Like you finally feel like you are into the season for the first time. You're on the road, you're going through the same routines. It's a very familiar place that the Mariners come to all the time. So I think that's what's helpful, is just, okay, finally into the season, finally into a little bit of rhythm after, there's just so much going on in the first week of the season that it's hard to feel any bit of normalcy during the first week. And I think this is the first time everyone can kind of feel that.
Are they expecting a full house tonight for their opening night? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. That's a good question. It doesn't look full yet, but they haven't. That's a good question. I mean, it's opening day. I hope so, right?
You'd like to think they'd be able to pack it at least once in a season.
Yeah, but these fans have been through a lot down here. It's been a really rough go the last few years. And I was thinking about this Angels team. Like, they haven't been above 500 in a long time, and Trout's still here, but this was Trout, Ohtani in their primes were on the same team, right? And just nothing to show for it. And it's just felt, it's felt like they've rolled out such a similar team every single year, like different players, right? But just kind of the same sort of thing, especially on the pitching side. And, I was thinking about this too. The Mariners last year, as we all know, won the division and made a huge playoff run and missed the postseason by a game the year before. And I think, from my perspective, a lot of that was the Angels. So when you look at the Mariners' record last year compared to the year before, I don't know if you remember that down the stretch in 2024, the Mariners lost some real heartbreakers in this ballpark, and they did not have a good record against the Angels. And the Angels were not a good team.
Right.
But the Mariners turned that around in a big way last year and really handled the Angels. And you look at the Mariners' record in the division, did well against the Astros, destroyed the Rangers, and really handled the Angels. And for me, that was such a big factor in winning the division last year. So it is funny how Angels may not be in contention, but they can be a factor in the division depending on how you play against them.
Yeah,
so
6 one-run losses in 2024. Gary, I think I did post-game for all of them.
Yeah, I think you did too. Yeah. And there were heartbreakers too. It was like Adele homers in the 8th, those sorts of things, those late games. And it was a brutal run because a lot of them happened, I think, in September, if I remember right. And then you look back and it's like, man, you missed the postseason by 1 game. And if you could just turned around a couple of those, Mariners would have been in great shape. But to their credit, they did it last year. They handled this team, and this is a team they should handle. So hopefully it'll start in this series as well.
Yeah, that franchise is still dealing with the curse of Anthony Rendon. So that's what happens.
I have not seen him today. I'll look, though.
Yeah.
I'll tell him you say hi if I find him.
Even when he was there, you didn't see him.
He's going to be in the stands. He loves baseball so much.
Oh, his passion for the game is infectious.
Yes. Infectious is the right word, yes.
Gary, we appreciate you, my friend. Have fun out there. We'll see you when you get back to town.
Thanks a lot, guys.
And thanks for Dave Wyman as well.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Take care, Gary.
See you guys.
There you go. There's Gary Hill Jr. of your Seattle Mariners broadcast team. He'll be on the call tonight out there in the warm weather of Anaheim, and hopefully the Mariners can get back into the win column with a win tonight. Again, pregame coming up at 6 o'clock. Meanwhile, what should we expect from J.P. Crawford when he makes his debut tonight? We'll get into that next with Wyman and Bob. It's Seattle Sports on 710.
You can stream every pitch of every inning of every game all season long. Oh, and it's completely free.
It's a tremendous catch.
Only on the Seattle Sports app. That's right. The free Seattle Sports app puts every single Mariners game right in the palm of your hand.
On a platter, come and get it.
One app, every game. Plus the latest Mariners news, insider access, video, and podcasts.
Holy smokes, what a play.
Pretty awesome, right? Just like the Mariners.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here for my friends at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Celebrate Mom with Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's Mother's Day weekend giveaway. You could win one of 100 designer handbags filled with prizes on Saturday, May 9th and Sunday, May 10th. Don't forget to book a stay at the new hotel. It's awesome. Elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. Head to snocasino.com for details. It is Seattle's closest Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Please game responsibly.
Spring is the perfect time to make improvements that protect and add value to your home. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. For decades, homeowners across the Pacific Northwest have trusted our team for roofing, siding, windows, and custom decking. This spring, save up to $3,000, or qualified homeowners can take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule your free estimate.
Meet the company electrifying the marine industry. ARC, a fully electric boat that feels like a luxury EV. Significantly less maintenance and service, ARC is built to be as easy to operate as it is to maintain. Featuring heated seats and seat backs, a large display, easy handling, and impressive kick. You have to see it and experience ARC for yourself. Book a demo. They'll pick you up on Lake Washington, Lake Union, or Lake Sammamish if you can't come to them in Kirkland. Go to arcboats.com/demo. ARC. You have to see it to believe it.
Visit America's Car Museum now, where history roars to life. If you loved Ford versus Ferrari, see Shelby Cobras and GT40s in the birth of the American supercar. Cruise-ins, drive-ins, race simulators, fun for all ages. Plan today at americascarmuseum.org.
The deadline for filing taxes is coming up. Don't miss this chance to donate your car to Cars for Kids for a 2026 tax deduction. Go to carsforkids.org today. That's cars with a K. Don't wait. Donate now and have your car picked up by tomorrow.
Listen, every day across Washington, kids stay after school giving their all for sports and activities, many on empty stomachs. That's a problem. Food insecurity in our state is at crisis levels, and it's hurting learning and performance. Safeway and Champions of Change Foundation are stepping up with Nourishing Champions, providing grants to schools for after-school meal programs. Schools don't wait. Applications close April 8th. That's April 8th. Go to championsofchangefoundation.org and click Nourishing Champions.
30 years ago, Davis Law Group was founded to be the best law firm for our clients and our community. Our core values are to win, help, and serve. It means our success is defined by the difference we make in our clients' lives and the impact we can have in our community. Not by giant settlement checks or shiny offices. Our mission to lift up the vulnerable extends beyond the courtroom to our charity partners, promoting safety, uplifting students, accident victims, foster youth, and the elderly. If you've been injured and want better results for your claim and for all of Washington, call Davis Law Group today.
Mariners and Angels in Anaheim tonight. First pitch at 6:38, 5:30 pregame. Hear every pitch live for free on the Seattle Sports app.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Dave Wyman here with Dr. Robert Moyer from Swedish Hospital. Dr. Moyer, tell us about the amazing results prostate cancer patients are getting with Swedish CyberKnife.
Well, at the Swedish CyberKnife, our patients are really satisfied with the experience. The treatment is very effective at eradicating the cancer, has minimal side effects, and we are seeing excellent cancer control 10 years later.
Find out more at swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
How was your break? It was great until I stopped for gas. Prices have gone up almost $1 with no end in sight. I might have to start watching how much I drive.
That's exactly why I use Upside. I never pay full price for gas with the free Upside app.
Upside?
Yes, Upside. It's the free app that gives you cash back just for buying the gas you're already buying. So even with the rising gas prices, I'll never have to limit how much I drive.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Just last year, I made over $200 with the Upside app.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app right now.
Download the free Upside app to earn cash back on the gas you're already buying. Use promo code THRIVE25 for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code THRIVE25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first fill-up. That's THRIVE25.
Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We got mean text coming up in about 15 minutes. How they doing so far, Lefko?
Well, jokes on everyone who thought we were going to be done right now. You get us until 6.
Or is the person that called us moron saying we didn't know what time we were off the air?
We were thinking about getting done early at 5:30, and then it was like, our listeners need the extra time to think of the mean text. They're not smart enough in that shortened window, so we're going all the way up till 6 o'clock. So 5:45 for mean text.
5:45. Have we had some decent submissions to this point? Are you feeling good about the
somewhat
the potential of the segment?
I think they're missing Dave Wyman calling them Morans.
Morans.
So, you'll have to do without that. No Dave this week. He will miss your mean text, but if you send them in today for the first time, as opposed to, any day of the week, we'll read them to him as well when he comes back.
I still love that he's just convinced you're not supposed to send them in before Friday. It's like, Dave, have you not heard me every time saying we collect them throughout the week and unveil them on Friday? He feels like that's a new thing we're doing. It's not.
Okay, so for the first time, send them in.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So we'll do Mean Text coming up at 5:45. 866-979-3776 is the text number. Meanwhile, you heard us talking to Gary Hill Jr. in the previous segment. If you missed any part of that, you can find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. But we're talking about J.P. Crawford, and he's hitting 7th in the lineup tonight. I don't hold out. Look, if he goes 0 for 4 tonight, I'm not going to flip out and go, oh, geez, this guy's terrible. What are they going to do? He didn't really have spring. This is he's going to be kind of developing on the fly, developing his rhythm, finding his rhythm on the fly. So I'm more interested to see what he does in the field because I'm curious about the shoulder. It was enough to keep him in and out. He was in and out of the in spring training. Obviously, it put him on the 10-day IL. He had one start there with the Tacoma Rainiers. The other rained out, as we learned. So I don't think it's realistic to hold out a bunch of hope on what he's going to produce offensively, at least out of the gate. Maybe he goes 4 for 4. That'd be great. But I'm really curious to see that arm and just see if he's got to put some steam on the ball. You know, again, a dribbler to him, guy's busting it down the line. He's got to fire a BB to first base. What does that look like?
Yeah, range, when you haven't played, you aren't really, what kind of shape is he in, aside from the shoulder? When you just haven't been able to get that physical activity and that ramp up to the season, it does come at you pretty quickly. And the fact that the left side of the infield, there are some unknowns right now. We talked about Brendan Donovan's defense, and everyone from John Morosi to Gary Hill, who we just had on, said, yeah, look, it's 7 games into Brendan Donovan's career at third base here for the Mariners. There are going to be some growing pains. There really are no other alternatives, as we kind of went into. You can't put anyone else at third right now. So Brendan Donovan is the third baseman for the short-term future, at least. You'd like to see some stability there next to him with J.P. Crawford. So, yeah, like you said, I agree as well. Defensively, it'll be a lot more heightened to see what he does compared to, hey, if he comes out 0 for 3, you have other bats in this lineup that can pick him up.
Yeah, that to me will be the harder part to get going.
The bat.
Yeah. Defensively, you should be there. If they feel he's healthy, they activate him, you're putting him in the lineup. That tells me you think he can make all the throws that he needs to make from that spot. The bat, to me, is different. I think everybody understands that's a timing thing. That's something that he needs to develop and may take a little bit of time, but the defense should be there. To me, if he goes out there and boots a ball or he lollipops it from deep in the hole and we're going, what the heck was that? I'm not ready to hear, well, take some time. No. If you're putting him in the field, you're telling me he's ready to make those throws.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see anything other than that. So that's the part I'm curious about, and we'll see. The other part is Donovan at third base, which we talked to Gary about. We've talked about it earlier in the show in case you missed it. And this isn't pulling the plug. This isn't pushing the panic button, whatever other cliche you want to throw out there. This is just an observation of the facts. Facts are you've played 7 games. Brendan Donovan has committed 3 errors so far in 7 games. Is that something that's just, all right, it's happenstance? One of them, the ball was hit hard at him, the one off Stanton's bat. He's had 2 wonky throws. Is he? Gary said he was out there working on the throws as we were talking to him. So, if he fails at the spot, it's not going to be because he wasn't working at it. But maybe it's just not going to be a natural fit. We'll find out. But the returns aren't great so far. To say the least. So I'm curious because we're talking about Colt Emerson kind of waiting in the wings and, that attributing that more to JP because he's a shortstop and he will be your shortstop, but he's played third base and they've been working him out at third base. So he's a very likely candidate to show up here and play third base should that problem continue defensively.
Yeah, you need that stability there. He's gotten a lot of reps at third in spring training. Now in the minors, he played at third when JP was there for that 1 game. I know it was supposed to be more than that, but they are comfortable with having him at third. So if Emerson comes up and Brendan Donovan is still a little shaky, you can move Brendan Donovan around and maybe you strengthen those other spots because it's kind of a puzzle right now. And unfortunately, whenever you have a left-handed starter up going against you, you're kind of going with your slightly weaker hitting lineup because you don't have Rayleigh or Canzone in the lineup right now. So just quick scroll through, and Ref Schneider continues to DH like he does against left-handed pitching, and then in right field, Victor Robles. So you don't have Rayleigh, you don't have Canzone. You do need Brendan Donovan's bat in there. It's been terrific. He's been fantastic so far against lefties as well.
Hitting 400.
Oh yeah, I was looking for the stat there. There you go, 400. So he's not going anywhere when it comes to the starting lineup. It might just be what Gary said. Things find a way of resolving themselves, or truly, you could see him playing a different position almost every single day when you balance off days or an injury or somewhere where, hey, maybe he does get 2 or 3 days at third because of a matchup or something like that. But Brendan Donovan might be a true roving utility man whenever Colt Emerson comes up.
I think I'm with Paul. We talked to Paul Moyer earlier.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, yeah.
I said this all last year because they seem pretty just, here's the deal. Lefty on the hill, we're going with our righties. Righty on the hill, we're going with our lefties. It didn't seem to matter who was hot. And I was of the belief, if a guy is smoking hot, I don't care which side of the plate he hits from. Just let him hit until he's not hot. The matchup thing, I get it. I understand it. But I feel like in some cases, go with the hot hand until they cool off. I don't. Does Ref Schneider give you a better AB at the top of the lineup than Donovan would right now? Because Donovan, again, he's faced 10 lefties so far, and he's got 4 hits.
Well, I'll tell you, I think why they do this, and I agree to some extent with you and Paul about, once you bring in a righty reliever, maybe you want that lefty bat at the top lineup, but also because of that, the Mariners have kind of staggered their left and righty bats, and there aren't a lot of them. So if that's the basic explanation I can think of. Look, Ref Schneider is leading off because you have a lot of lefties, so you can alternate there and go right, left when Cal bats switch. Julio right, Naylor left, Rosarena right, and then you go down toward the bottom, and it's essentially all left-handed.
Right.
So that would be the simple explanation of, okay, that's why Donovan isn't leading off. But, yeah, if he continues to hit lefties well, it doesn't matter if someone's going to bring in a lefty to face a pocket of lefties. Donovan can show that he can get on base. Cal can flip around.
At least to this point, he
is. Yeah.
That's just back to go with the hot hand.
Yeah, it'll be something to watch. It'll be interesting. I'm more fascinated by the fact that the Mariners officially on their lineup that they put out there did mention it's a 7:04 first pitch. So there you go.
7:04.
That's why we're starting pregame at 6 o'clock. People were kind of curious because all the promotional materials for game times had listed the Angels having a 6:38 first pitch. That was the intended plan, but because it's their opening day, they're having all these ceremonies. Internally, I think they had said, we're going to push the start time back. It sounds like officially they told the Mariners here 7:04 because on the Mariners lineup that was tweeted out, it says 7:04. So that's why we're going till 6 o'clock, and you'll have Mariners pregame coming to you at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, they're going to honor the career of Anthony Rendon out there. The statue will be unveiled. It's going to be a heartwarming, emotional event.
It's going to take him 20 minutes to get down to the field because he didn't know he was supposed to play or be there, and then that's why it's going to take so long. And
I really wanted the Mariners to go after him. I did. That final year with Washington, he was absurd, the numbers he put up.
Yeah, I mean, he was. And how could you argue against it? He was incredible.
He was unbelievable, and you could not be a bigger bust than he was with the Angels. You look at what he was paid. You look at how often that guy played, and then to say the things he did about, it's a job. I don't love baseball or whatever he said. I mean, he just couldn't be further away from endearing himself to the fan base after not producing and collecting all that money.
Yeah.
And then basically telling him, like, I don't take this that seriously. It's just a job. Attaboy. You crushed it. All right. Last chance to get them in. Mean texts are coming your way next. 866-979-3776. We'll see what you got. Coming up with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
ESPN senior MLB insider Jeff Passan every Tuesday morning at 8:30 with Brock and Salk.
Brought to you by your Western Washington Toyota dealers.
Colt Emerson, 8-year extension.
Free agent years are incredibly valuable. If you can get those at a discount when you have Julio Rodriguez and Cal Raleigh and Colt Emerson locked up for the better part of half a decade, you're in a really good spot.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm. we got you.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
The Mariners are celebrating 50 seasons with legendary events all year. On April 10th, Ichiro gets his statue outside T-Mobile Park, and the first 40,000 fans take home a replica, thanks to BDA, with 20 signed by Ichiro himself. On May 2nd, it's Randy Johnson's number retirement ceremony, presented by T-Mobile. And on August 8th, the top 50 greatest Mariners players are unveiled on 50 Seasons Celebration Night, presented by Daktronics. See the full schedule and get your tickets at mariners.com.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at OurRealSuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text INVEST to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text INVEST to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text INVEST to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text INVEST to 64,000.
missed any part of today's show, you can find it on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. Click the podcast tab. Click on our picture. It's right there waiting. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you on Monday with Wyman and Bob.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
The Mariners have signed their best prospect, Colt Emerson, young shortstop, just 20 years old, yet to play a game in the big leagues. 8 years, $95 million guaranteed. There are some wins in here for the player, and I think a lot of wins in here for the team as well.
It's a win for the player to make generational money, and it's a win for the organization that if he becomes half the player that you believe he can become, that deal is going to be very favorable to your budget.
On Seattle Sports.
Your reputation matters. That's why so many landscape professionals choose Gravely. You can save up to 20% on Gravely commercial mowers during the Gravely Mow the Distance sales event starting April 9th. Visit your local Gravely dealer today.
How does your roof look after this winter? Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Spring into action today. Save $3,000 on a new roof, siding, deck, or windows. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Hey there, Dawn Riley with Olympic Hot Tub. Make the arrival of spring even sweeter with a healthy, relaxing saltwater soak every night. During our Sweet Spring Savings event, you can save up to $3,000 on the hot tub of your dreams. Experience the incredible wellness benefits of natural salt water right in your own backyard. Ends April 14th. Learn more at OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub.
You have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You need a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. Switch today. Get started with a great offer as low as $60 a month. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Offer ends 6/1/26. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet and security edge. 1-year agreement, eco-bill, and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You could file your taxes on a basic free service, which is fine. But are you okay with fine? Because when it's your money on the line, do you really want to guess if you missed a credit or hope the math is right? Get the confidence of TurboTax for free right on the Intuit Credit Karma app. Free Fed and free state for simple 1040s only. Around 37% of filers qualify. See details at turbotax.com/free. No schedules except for EITC, CTC, student loan interest, and Schedule 1A.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising. After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But
it was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video